Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Manchester United video. In tonight's show, we are reacting to Mark Goldbridge's video, what he said about Marcus Rashford, and we are doing player ratings for the Crystal Palace versus Manchester United game. Big up to every single one of you lying and locked in this evening. Much appreciated. Good evening to you, Daniel Knight 14. How are you doing this evening, mate? Thank you for joining me this evening. Arsenal are bottle jobs, and I hope they don't win the league. And Gunnar can hold that. Yep, we're up and running now, mate. So all good on that front. So, yep, I'm going to start off with the Mark Goldbridge reaction first, and then obviously we can get started by reacting to Manchester United player ratings. So hang on a second, I'm just going to share my stream onto Twitter. Let people know I'm live on Twitter and that, so more can tune in if they want. Hang on 2 seconds, guys. Let's have a look, guys. Community, here we go. Where's the share button? Here it is. Share icon to Twitter. Bosh. I don't want that. I want the app. I want the app, okay? Anyway, let's get off the web browser a second. Share. Why is it not sharing onto the app? I want to share it onto the app. Goodness sake, man. Hang on. I know what I'll do. Save on the hassle. I'll copy the link. Probably because the version I'm using on my iPad is out of date, to be honest. Let's have a look. Twitter. Where's Twitter? Here we go. Here it is. Right. See, never know when you're going to have a few technical issues when you're lying, do you? Paste. Tweet. There we go. Bosh. Share that onto my Twitter page. Cool. Let's have a look. Should be on there. Yeah, yes it is. Sorry, I left your stream yesterday. Because I was tired. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I just let everyone know on Twitter online, so I just shared the stream. So right, let's go to. Oh, good evening to you, Hayden Cox. Good evening, Mr. Good evening to you, mate. Thank you for joining me this evening. Much appreciated, mate. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, we got the video already and that, so we're good to go. Then a bit later, we're going to start off with the Mark Goldbridge reaction about the ball trawled and Marcus Rashford. Then we're going to get on to player ratings a bit later on. Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. Hayden Cox. I hope you're well. I hope your day's going good and that. What a crazy game of football today. And the Etihad. That was absolutely amazing. Great game from start to finish. Right, let's get started with this, shall we? Right.
Welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and the media are at it again, trying to destabilise our football club with ridiculous statements that no other football club would get. Absolutely ridiculous, needs calling out. Actually, I think there should be some positivity from yesterday, but as per usual, they've lost the plot, and it's all
positivity, eh? Wow. It's because it's a title and a video, you know, I gotta make it more professional, but I can still call him number 10, mate, if I want to. There's nothing stopping me from calling him number 10. which I'm still going to call him that, by the way, in the video. It's just in the title, you've got to be a bit more professional about it. Insane game of football today, Mr. But yes, it was. See, straight away, Mark Goldbridge is going on to the positives and that. What? Drawing after literally you had so many chances. I don't think somehow that is a positive, yeah? Let's get the narrative right here. So, anyway, let's continue.
Derailing Manchester United. Not again, you might say. Well, yes, again. It is yet again the issue as the media, i.e., this time Sky, decide to turn a Manchester United performance, which should have been a win and had many positives, into let's try and derail Manchester United and form a wedge between the manager and Marcus Rashford. Unbelievable stuff.
Now, I reckon it's literally something is going on behind the scenes. Why would you literally have number 10 on the bench when he scored your goals the last couple of games? Surely you would want to start number 10 because he's been scoring you some goals. You know, confidence will be high. And that I don't get that from the board rules yesterday, why he benched him, to be honest. Surely you would want to start him. I know he's been absolutely abysmal recently, Marcus Rashford, but, you know, let's wait and see what happens. But trust the process, as you Manchester United fans. Not with me. I'm not one of them. I call out the BS, mate. I call out the bullshit in my football club because I care about my football club. I've been supporting them for 25 years. Why should I accept mediocrity, mate? Because I won't. I won't in any shape or form whatsoever. Anyway, let's continue this.
Out last night. I mean, I couldn't. I was sat there and I can't speak. I almost wanted to go live, but I thought I'll sleep on it. Essentially, talking about Marcus Rashford being put on the bench against Crystal Palace and how it's a shitstorm and how it's crazy and how there must have something gone on this week and what's gone on off the pitch this week and what's made 10.
Yeah, I reckon there's something going on behind the scenes. There's definitely going on, but they're not going to make it public, are they? They're just going to keep us fans guessing. But you know me, the elite mentality, I am switched on because you have very, 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 very high elite standards. Right, let's continue.
And Rashford fall out this week, and I'm sat there just.
Have you heard? It's back.
Oh, yeah, mutant.
Going and drink me back for an extra survey on 2025.
What is this world we live in? Player gets put on the bench as part of rotation, comes on for half an hour, doesn't actually do anything, but we're talking about it crazy that he was dropped. Last week, people were saying it was only Barnsley and Southampton. And now suddenly he's dropped prime Messi. Didn't drop anybody. He rotated him. And as for this interview that Ten Hag did, talking about professionalism and looking after yourself off the pitch, I can tell you, it's not right.
Professionalism. Now, with this manager, you don't get professionalism. You get fire mash PR waffle. Let's get the narrative right here. Let's fucking have it right here, people. Right, let's keep going.
From very good sources, he wasn't even talking about Rashford. He's talking about somebody else in the first team squad. So, you know, that's the media for you. You got Jamie Redknapp sat there talking about something going off the pitch. Should be bloody sued. I don't see the United stand talking about that.
No, it's called having an opinion, mate. You know, he's entitled to his own opinion. Jamie Redknapp. Let's get an answer right here, because football is about opinion. But why are you so brutal? Because I have elite, high standards. Right, let's continue.
I don't see other United websites talking about that. But it's fine to sit on mainstream TV on a Saturday night and start insinuating that Rashford's been up to stuff off the pitch and him and Ten Hag have fallen out. On Friday,
our fans are getting right that he went out on the piss last season when he shouldn't have done. So you never know with him, do you? He's been up to something behind closed doors or not. Because when he went out on the piss last season, that wasn't very professional, was it? You're a professional footballer and you're going out drunk and that when you're not meant to. Get out here. What are we doing here, people? Seriously. Good evening to you, Glimpse HD. How are you doing this evening? Thank you for joining me this evening, mate. Right, let's carry on.
On this channel, we ran a poll of who should start against Crystal Palace, Garnacho or Rashford. It was basically 50-50. So the manager goes with Garnacho, and suddenly it's shock of the century. How can it be shock of the century when most people were like, well, Rashford scored 3 in the last 2, but so's Garnacho, and he's got more assists. You know, there was a case to start Garnacho over Rashford anyway. Ten Hag called it road.
I mean, Garnacho, yes, he can score quite a few goals and that, but, you know, number 10 has been here a lot more than Garnacho, so surely you would want to start off with him first or both players. It's like, you know me, I'm not really a huge fan of Rashford because how shit he's been recently, but if he plays well, I will praise him. When he plays shit, I'll call him out. It's as simple as that. Goldbridge, the gaslighter, and his tribe, sorry, horrors will lap his up, utter Romans. Facts, Michael Chelsea FC. Good evening to you, by the way, mate. Thank you for joining me this evening. Much appreciated. What did you think of the Grand Prix today? Sorry, I've not done a race reaction today. I mean, I've been a bit busy watching all the football, helping stuff with my family and that. So, yeah, I will get on to that tomorrow. Right, let's carry on.
We've got competition for a place. And to be fair, Rashford didn't do anything when he came on. He came on for half an hour. So I would say Ten Hag actually got it right. And to have these prats talking about...
Nope, he didn't get it right. You know, because what did he do when he came off the bench? Nothing. So if you want to see an impact, surely he should have started the game. Let's get the narrative right here. Bottle Jobs FC strike again. Oh my goodness, they'll be absolutely gutted, Arsenal, that they threw that away in the end. Literally on their way to winning a game of football with 10 men. And then, unfortunately for them, they switch off, lapse of concentration, and John Stones breaks the Gunners' hearts. Not ready. They had to defend for... Not really. They had to defend for 45 minutes with 10 men. I mean, it was a professional performance, I thought, from Arsenal. They were very, very unfortunate, but just one lapse of concentration cost them all 3 points today. That is the thing what will hurt Arsenal fans the most. I think Hayden Cox. Like, I listened to the Gunners' reaction. He said that he wasn't seeing human, just deflated. Because I could imagine Arsenal fans were feeling deflated. I mean, with 10 men, they were. I thought they were brilliant, mate, honestly.
Oh, why did he drop him? His confidence was high and now it's low. I don't see Garnacho coming off the bench and doing sod all when he came on last week. You know, or you know, when he got the Southampton player sent off. Like, Rashford had half an hour. I don't think Marcus Rashford will even be that. You know, he's going to be disappointed that he got dropped. But my major point here is that I think a lot of people try and inflict toxicity and negativity onto fan opinion. I didn't see anybody last.
You're not changing my opinion on what I think of the manager, because I call out the BS in this football club. I call out the PR. It's as simple as that. he goes on about his squad rotation and that, but I honestly believe something is happening behind the scenes what we're not aware of. Sancho's landing the minerals geezer. He is. 2 assists already. He's doing well. Right, let's carry on.
Like trying to make a story out of Rashford being dropped. I saw the mainstream trying to do it. Basically what they want to do is Man United didn't lose, so they can't go in as on that. So they've got to find something else. They've got to find another way to derail Manchester United in sport.
All right, we didn't lose, but to me, that felt like a defeat. I'm not going to lie. Missing all them chances. And literally, we couldn't score. We had so many chances. In football, you got to take your opportunities. I mean, we could have easily lost that game. Crystal Palace could have got us on a smash and grab. At least I didn't get any numbers the other day, mate. No more schoolboy errors. Yes, mate, exactly.
Speak about them. So let's create another fallout between Ten Hag and Rashford, which clearly just isn't there. Of course, Marcus Rashford's not going to be happy that he's not starting, but I seem to recall Pep Guardiola doesn't always pick Phil Foden. Do you think Phil Foden's happy there on a Saturday morning when Pep says, "You're on the bench, I'm starting Bernardo Silva"? High five, Pep. I'm absolutely happy about that. I'm over the moon. Of course, Rashford's not happy. Who gives a shit? Of course, Phil Foden's not happy. Who gives a shit? We've got a manager. We're Manchester United. I actually quite like the rotation. I quite like the idea that when we play Spurs next weekend, might be Garnacho on the bench, might be Ahmad on the bench, might be Rashford on the bench. We need this type of rotation. We need this type of fighting for the shirt. Like ultimately.
At Wix, shop the latest autumn
selection
of our best deal.
I thought over the last few games, I'm just going to say it. I think that whenever I hear United fans criticise Rashford, it's because he's not played well factually in a Man United shirt. What's wrong with that? Your priority is probably the same as mine. Manchester United is my only concern. I don't care really about who starts. I want Man United to win. That is my concern. So,
same. We can agree on that. I want Man United to win as well, 100%. That Michael Oliver was a disgrace. Ederson was basically fouled by Martinelli. How many are we going to keep seeing this in the meant to be in the Premier League for crying out loud? It's a PR Premier League, Michael.Chelsea FC. There's so much PR, mate.
I'm just focused on Manchester United. So if a player plays badly in a Man United shirt, like Bruno did in the second half, then Bruno's going to be spoken about after the game, like he was on this channel.
Oh, look, we're going to get onto him later on player ratings, right? He was absolutely abysmal in the second half when we made them substitutions, the captain number 8.
Like he was on social media. Bruno, last night, got a lot of stick for having a terrible second half, and he should have been taken off. That's because people want Man United to win and felt that Bruno prevented that from happening. It's a logical criticism. When I look at Rashford, no one's really spoken about him. In fact, he's had a lot of praise. And yet, on the Southampton game, the cameras are never off him. On the Barnsley game, the cameras are never off him. And yesterday, when he's on the bench, the cameras are never off him. I don't have the audio on because obviously I'm streaming, so I can't have the audio on because you would be able to hear it. So all I really get is enhanced visual because I'm just focusing on the visual. I don't get the audio. And I tell you what, every time you look at the screen, the cameras are on Rashford. So who is the real issue here? Is it fans or is it the media who are constantly stirring up the stories? Now,
well, it's like the media need to play some sort of role, but also the fans who fall for the PR as well are responsible, I believe. That's my personal take on it. Anyway, let's continue.
Marcus Rashford's team call the media out? Probably not, because it's Sky and they've got all the Premier League rights, but they are absolutely making pressure on him go through the bloody roof. And they single-handedly are starting this story that there is an issue between Ten Hag and Rashford. Is Rashford's team going to come out and say, stop spreading false rumours? No, they won't, because it's the mainstream. But they
Nope, because they know if a story builds up, they can make money. Pound notes, PR. Let's get an narrative right here. Yeah? It's all about the money, money, money. I will do anything for pound notes. Big up. It was Leeds. Arsenal never deserved. Let's get it right.
are feeding this. I'm not happy about this morning. I'm genuinely not, because I'm very disappointed that Manchester United drew last night. We didn't lose, but you know what?
Loss. It felt like a loss. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, let's continue.
I'm tired of lazy producers and ex-players finding shitty little angles because their brain can't compute proper football. Like Redknapp last night made some good points about, you can't be out partying, you've got to be professional, you've got to turn up. But Ten Hag wasn't talking about Rashford in that interview. He was talking about general behaviour. Last week, he mentioned Anthony and said, you've got to turn up and train as hard as you want to play in the first team. No one was making a big deal out of that because it's Anthony. But he's not actually talking about Rashford. Like, very good sources are saying it's not Rashford he's talking about when he's talking about unprofessional behaviour. Now, it might come out who it is, but apparently it's not Rashford. So, I don't think it would be Rashford. I think there's a change in Rashford this season. I think he's had a good start to the season. He looks mentally better.
Good start to the season. I wouldn't go as far as that. What, 2 good games all of a sudden? You think he's back to his very best, do you? Get out here. What are we doing here, people? Sums this fan base up in a nutshell, honestly.
He's going to be disappointed he got rotated out, but Garnacho would be disappointed if he was on the bench. Would people have been saying, if we'd have drawn yesterday and Garnacho didn't start, would they have been saying it's crazy he's not starting Garnacho? He's the most creative player. Like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But you know what? The real important thing is to talk about drawing being a negative. I get that. Some people want to turn it into a negative. That's absolutely fine. How about the positive?
Absolutely, it's fine, mate. Let's get an answer right here. Because fans are entitled to their own opinion at the end of the day.
Why is the draw automatically a negative? We went to Palace last year and we got stuffed. We dominated them for 60 minutes. We should have won that game comfortably. Are we going to talk about the positives? Because you know what? Talking about this media again, who's gone very quiet? All the ex-Man United players who were saying not really happy about the signings they've made, quite uninspiring signings, don't understand why we've made those signings. Man United should be signing top-class players. Well, we can't sign top-class players because we're not in the Champions League and we haven't got that amount of money. Don't understand why we're buying these players. Maybe watch United over the last few games, especially last night, and have a look at why we brought these players in. High line, high possession, high chance creation. Stylistically, these signings suit us better than the Hollywood signings we've been making for the last 10 years. But no one will talk about that. Jamie Redknapp doesn't want to talk about that. Jamie Redknapp wants to make up some story in his head, which just...
I stick by it. Number 10, Marcus Rashford, has got to be one of the most protected players ever in this country. It's like you're not even allowed to criticise him. It's like, what are we doing here, people? Yeah? Seriously, where I call him out, and I had every right to call him out. He's been absolutely horrendous recently. So, if you're a football fan, you should be calling it out. Stop falling for the PR, yeah, and copy and pasting what other fans are saying. All these copy and paste merchants, copy and paste this, copy and paste that. You are part of the issue in this fan base. Let's get the narrative right here. Let's absolutely 100% have it right. I mean, it's ridiculous, man, honestly. But not me. I call out the BS at my football club. I absolutely hate PR with a passion. So that's why I'll never become a PR YouTuber. But every YouTuber says that, Mr. Joshy J. They end up being a PR YouTuber. Not me. Absolutely not me whatsoever. I won't clickbait my thumbnails. I won't be biased towards other players, other managers, and that. I mean, if I get something wrong, then I hold accountable for it because I hold myself accountable. Because you know what they say, accountability is the best ability. Like what my favourite YouTuber says, Lee Gunner, who is lying, by the way, for an emergency meeting. Anyway, let's continue. Good evening to you, Kai. How are you doing this evening? Goldbridge talking rubbish as usual. Oh, we're going to carry on.
You know, I was watching it back, and if I'm Sky, I'm getting nervous. I'm thinking, Jamie, what are you doing? You are making something up. Well, I don't know, mate, but you know, maybe something off the pitch has gone on. You know, I don't really know, but it's crazy to me. But you know, maybe something off the pitch has gone out. Maybe it will come out. Maybe it won't come out. What the fuck are you talking about on national TV? Talking out your arse, making stuff up. You can't do that. I can't do that. So why is he doing that? Why is he sat there after a Manchester United match talking about, I don't know. I don't know. Do you want a pair of trainers? I don't know what's going on. You know, I don't know. But, you know, there might be something going on. Maybe it will come out. It's crazy.
Nah, you're right, mate. Give me a pair of Doc Martens because I'm into Doc Marten boots and that. But they're expensive, Mr. Josh CJ. Look, loads of pair of Doc Martens, okay? Give me Doc Martens any day in the week. Right, let's carry on.
It's me. Well, no, I was about talking about the bloody game. Talk about the match. Because for all of last year, they talk about United having no style of play, not creating enough chances, conceding loads of chances. Disappointing to draw, but surely the job of an impartial analyst on national TV is to analyse the game of football. And we had a lot of people in the summer, Rio, you know, I think Scholes might have said it, maybe Neville said it, I don't know. There were some ex-players who said, not really sure about De Ligt. Don't know what this De Ligt signing is all about. Well, you know, maybe watch a bit more football, lads, because I think most of our fan base knew why we bought De Ligt, because he's a ball-playing centre-back who can play in a certain system that suits the way we want to play. And everybody knew that. But you lot didn't seem to know that. And everybody's very, very quiet about that. I gave De Ligt man of the match yesterday. You gave it to Onana. That.
Look, I thought De Ligt was absolutely superb yesterday. And I will get onto his rating a bit later. These references, Taylor and Allenbecker, have not got the minerals. I agree. Facts.
Fine, but I think people are sleeping on the transition of how we're defending. Like, we literally are not on the edge of our box anymore. We're on the halfway line away from home. You know, we're passing it around the back four comfortably, and we're not getting pressed because they know what'll happen. People were moaning about Martinez and De Ligt holding on to the ball last night, but that's because Crystal Palace wouldn't press us. And they wouldn't press us because they were scared that we've got two centre-backs that if they press us, they'll find the spare man and then we're going to get at them. The reason Martinez and De Ligt kept the ball is because Crystal Palace sat in the midfield, closed the passing lanes, and they wanted us to hit it long where they would win it. So we were like, well, we're not hitting it long. We'll keep it. We'll keep the ball. We've changed the way that we're playing because of that De Ligt signing and hopefully Yoro as well. Like,
I mean, look, there's no doubt about it. Defensively, we look quite a bit more solid, and obviously that gives Onana confidence in that. But also, what you've got to take into consideration is how poor Crystal Palace were until the second half. You know, they didn't get going really until the last 10 minutes of the first half. I mean, at the start of the game, it was looking so easy for us to create opportunities. But once Palace got going in that, it looked like they could be the ones who literally would snatch a smash and grab. But thankfully they didn't, but they so easily could have done. Goldbridge isn't even a Man United fan. He supports Nottingham Forest. I mean, yeah, he's a Forest fan, but it looks like he plays the role as a Manchester United fan.
there is a massive change in the way that we're playing this season. Oh, we don't want to talk about that, though. We don't want to talk about that. We want to find a way to derail United. Let's talk about Rashford. Let's talk about Ten Hag. Let's talk about them falling out. It's pitiful. It's absolutely pitiful. We're better than that. We're better than that as a fan base, and I believe we should be better than that as a media. You can't spend Saturday night analysis talking out your arse, making up a theory. Ten Hag said that.
What happens if it's true now? What happens if Jamie Redknapp is absolutely spot on? Then he should be getting credit for exposing it, but instead they'll probably say, "Oh, Jamie Redknapp's a hypocrite. He doesn't have a clue who he's talking about." Because the ones who speak the truth get made easy targets. For example, Johnny Minerals FC. Let's get the narrative right here.
Rashford wasn't in the team for rotation. Rotation. What right have you on mainstream TV got to pull a theory out your arse that, I think something might have happened? Well, why was Garnacho on the bench then?
Look, they're not confirming something has happened. They're literally just giving their own opinion that something might have happened. So already he's kind of criticising Sky Source before he has full black and white evidence. You know that saying, innocent until proven guilty. Him being an ex-police officer should know that. One word to describe Goldbridge. One at the best, but a PR YouTuber. Hayden Cox, Dick Ryder.
Has he been out partying? Has he fallen out with Ten Hag? Or maybe, just maybe, Ten Hag looks at someone like Pep Guardiola, who he admires, and goes, I need a squad of 16. I need to be able to rotate. I need 16 players that I can go, you're in the team and you're coming out of the team. Maybe, that might sound really out there, I know, but just maybe, Ten Hag is looking at what Pep's doing and gone, well, he sometimes takes Foden out and puts Grealish in. He sometimes changes.
See, this is where teams are going wrong. They believe they can copy Pep Guardiola and beat him to a league title. No, stop copying Pep Guardiola and focus on your own tactics, yeah? Because if you copy Pep Guardiola, there's no way you're winning the Premier League title. Let's get the narrative right here, people.
We're playing a game every 3 days. I want to keep people sharp. And also, just maybe.
Yes, but so are others as well. They're playing games every 3 days. It's something you just got to deal with and management in football, isn't it? Everyone is in the same boat at the end of the day.
He thought, you know what? Rashford's playing really well at the moment, but I don't want him to get too comfortable. I don't want to go back to the days where he thinks he's playing every bloody week. Garnacho's been knocking on the door. I'm going to start Garnacho and I'll bring Rashford on for the last half an hour and see how he reacts to that. And maybe the last couple of days in training, Garnacho's been absolutely shit hot. I mean, the fact that Redknapp and co wouldn't know these sort of things, I find absolutely incredible. I really, really do. But you know what? I think we just need to hold target here. Like, we've got really big games coming up against Spurs and Villa, and that Palace game puts a pressure on to get better results in those games. Ten Hag knows it, you know it, I know it, the players know it. But look, I've had a sleep. I'm still very disappointed, but I'm just parking it and moving on. I think that I would love to have won that game yesterday, but I suppose if you win that game and you play badly, then you get 3 points, but you've played badly. If you draw it and you play well, I still want the 3 points, but there's so many positives to take from that game in the way that we played. And
Like how you make no excuses, mate. Exactly, Hayden Cox. And I never will make excuses, mate. Or I'm going to call it out now, make excuses. But, with this situation, it's like, Marcus Rashford, he's been absolutely rubbish. Let's get the narrative right here. And there's no way he should be given a free pass for that. But because he's done good for the community and that, it's like fans on social media, all these football pundits and that, they like to all of a sudden make him the most protected Premier League player. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. Honestly, I mean, you know, until I hear more evidence and that what's happened, but you know, it's like, wow, what are we doing here? Seriously.
I think we've got a certain element of people that just want to be negative. They want to see the world burn down. They want Ten Hag out, and they're just not going to see what I saw yesterday.
You got that one right, mate. I do want the Bulls ruled out. Honestly, I absolutely want him out because he's not good enough to take us to the next level. But you keep changing the managers, Mr. Joshy J. You won't get anywhere. Give me an elite manager, yeah? Give me a top level elite manager. You could maybe win a Premier League title or say a Champions League or something. 8th place and a minus goal difference last season. Nowhere near sustainable. But the injuries, Mr. Joshy J. And he's won you 2 trophies in 2 seasons, Mr. Joshy J. So you should be happy about that, Mr. Joshy J. No, I'm not happy about us finishing 8th place and a minus goal difference because it's nowhere near sustainable. It's not Man United Football Club's standards. Let's get an everything right here. Let's absolutely have it right here, people. I've been supporting my team for 25 years and I never experienced a season like it last season. But why are you on his back?
And many other people see, which was a very good footballing performance for an hour. And then the substitutions, and can I just say, the criticism of the substitutions are hilarious. They're absolutely hilarious. We should have kept Xerxes on for 90 minutes. We should have kept Ahmad on for 90 minutes. We should have kept Eriksen on for 90 minutes. I mean, do you not understand modern football? Like, nobody's doing that anymore. Nobody's not making subs anymore. You have to make subs. The problem was the subs didn't work. Were they the right subs? Were the subs intense when they...
The subs did not work because look how much more worse we got afterwards. It's like before we made the subs, we're actually looking really decent. But when we made the subs, it's like Palace were looking the more likely to score. This is what you got to take into consideration as well.
Came on, you know, as I said, when Garnacho's come on in the last couple of games, he's really brought it from the bench. I don't think any of our subs brought it. I thought Agate was okay. Obviously, Rasmus, it's his first game in 2 months. But you've got to make subs. You've got to make subs. And also, you've got to take your chances. I mean, Crystal Palace were never just going to sit there for 90 minutes at Selhurst Park and do nothing. And they had a couple of chances themselves.
They did. Any other time, they could have been the ones celebrating all 3 points because literally they were giving us a test towards the end. But thankfully, our defence showed test the character to get over the line and pick up a point. But I would have loved all 3 points, honestly. You know, against this Crystal Palace thing, let's get it right here, are still in transition, really.
I'm disappointed with the draw, but if you can't see the improvement in how we're playing, then I can't get into a debate. I mean, you know, we should have won the game, and that's the disappointing thing. But we played really, really well compared to the shit we've seen last season. Sinead says, and look, Sinead makes a great point. Our summer signings are the most impressive part of the team. Recruitment seems like it's improved. I enjoy not knowing who's going to play, says Sinead. I saw a tweet actually from Swedish Rumble actually this morning, and he's absolutely spot on. He basically said that if Pep Guardiola went to Newcastle, would Paul Mitchell, the director of football, say, "We know you've got a style of play, Pep, but what we want you to do is get the best out of Dan Burn and Shaw and Longstaff because they're good lads and we're not selling them"? Would they bollocks? They would get Pep Guardiola players that can play his brand of football. And when you look at Ten Hag and you look at this season, now he's got Mazraoui, Martinez, De Ligt. I mean, he still hasn't got his left back. But look at United now. He's got 3 of his own back 4 players. And we want to play out from the back. And we want to dominate possession. Isn't it funny how United now have 3 Ten Hag signings in the back 4 and we're playing in better football. What?
I wouldn't quite say better football yet. I'm yet to see any major improvement, really. Yesterday's football was good, but the problem is we couldn't really score. But, against Fulham, against Brighton, against Liverpool, to me, it was the same old from last season. But yet, no one is talking about it, are they? They think all of a sudden, after a couple wins and that, they think we're the best team since sliced bread all of a sudden. No, no, no. Reality check, people. Switch on and realise that Man United are not back in business yet. But you're not a true fan then, Mr. Joshy J. You don't think Man United are playing any better from last season? Oh, get in the bin, yeah. Seriously, get in the bin. En la Bazara. Bate Anamiu Ia de Puta. Smash the likes as well, as that also helps our YouTube channel out an awful lot. And please subscribe as well to my Mr. Joshy J football channel and F1 channel. I basically, earlier on this channel, set up a poll asking you guys which live watch-along should I do tomorrow. I said Fleetwood against Morecambe, Atalanta against someone, or Real Betis versus Real Mallorca, something like that. So make sure you vote on that on the community tab post. Right, let's continue.
Crazy over the last 2 years. Ten Hag's had to use Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Rafael Varane, players that he didn't actually sign because the CEO and the director of football have said, we want you to get the best out of these players. It is, it's a great point when you think about it. We're actually starting to play a better brand of football because we're actually starting to give him the players that he wants. And we didn't do that for 2 years. We gave him some. Look, Anthony hasn't.
The problem is, these are ex-Ajax players. Who's to say that they're going to maintain this all season? Because the Premier League is completely different kettlefish compared to the Dutch league and that. So, and I know De Ligt and Mascherari came from Bayern Munich, but still the Premier League is a different league compared to the Bundesliga. When you come to the Premier League, you're either going to be successful or you're going to fail, aren't you? It's as simple as that.
Worked out Martinez, Ericsson, Casemiro, but these are 4 or 5 players in a squad of 16, in a starting lineup of 11. It just wouldn't happen to Pep Guardiola. He wouldn't come to Manchester United and be told to work with Maguire and Lindelof. Yet Ten Hag's had to do it for the last 2 years. I think there is a direct correlation between actually putting a structure above a manager, and we all know it. It's not rocket science. You put a structure above a manager who speaks to the manager about how we want to play. And people got this wrong. They're like, Jason Wilcox is going to dictate the way we're going to play. He's not going to dictate the way we're going to play because he's not coaching the team and he can't buy a whole team. So what Wilcox will do is he will sit with Ten Hag and go, this is the plan of how we're going to play collectively. What players do we want? Dan Ashworth's part of that. Barada's part of that. We're finally seeing that type of a recruitment and we're seeing better football.
With the YouTube Music app, you can blend up to 30 artists into one big custom radio station, which means
I think it's, there's not a lot we can do about it, but I think the way that we're playing this season is fundamentally, stylistically better because we have brought De Ligt in and we have brought Mazraoui in, and it's allowed us to have play.
Look, don't get me wrong, they've had good starts to the season, okay? But, it's like, who's to say that they can maintain it all season? Because you just don't know, do you? They could do good sometimes, and other times they could be absolutely horseshit. You just don't know. This is the Premier League. It's unpredictable. But yet fans are getting giddy, thinking, oh, after 2 great wins and a draw, we're back in business all of a sudden. Hello, reality check. We're far from back in business yet. I will be the judge when Man United are back in business. when I say they're back in business, because I'm going with my own gut instincts. So until I see it, I will not be saying, "Oh, Man United are back in business, this and that." No, 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 people.
Is that will play the way we want to play. Hopefully it can continue. We put ourselves on a knife edge with that draw yesterday. I'm not going to lie. Rudzi, you're blocked. Homophobe. I mean, it's toxic Sunday. So basically, Rudzi has said, "Why don't you go and shag Ten Hag?" But said it in a homophobic way. I mean, it's just weird. Some people will wake up on a Sunday.
I mean, that is not sustainable. I completely agree with you on that, Goldbridge. Getting them out of your live chat. It's like if anyone else came on here and said that, they are out of here faster before you can say, but, bosh.
Morning, full of anger and hate because their own life is shit. It's toxic Sunday. Robert McCormack says, "Let's judge how we play against Spurs and Villa." Absolutely, exactly, mate. Absolutely, exactly. That's why I said.
That's when we'll learn where we are against Spurs and Villa, because obviously much more competitive teams, and it will be a test of character for our players. Yes, these sort of players may have a good game, say, against Southampton, against the worst defence in League One, Barnsley FC, and got a point against Crystal Palace. But who's to say they can actually do it against Spurs and Villa? This is why now this will be a test of character for these players.
You know, we have lost 2 of our first 5 games. We didn't beat Palace, we drew. This adds pressure. It does add pressure. There is no doubt about it. The players will be disappointed. But what I'm saying is that why would you load pressure onto your own team? What benefit does it do for you for us to lose to Spurs and Villa? And why do you let a toxic media pile on? At what point does this siege mentality within this fan base really start to kick in? At what point do you say enough is enough now? We did play well last night. We should have scored, but we will own that as fans, because I wake up this morning and go, very disappointed with the draw. We should have won. But if we got one of those goals, we win the game. And I'm sat here in a very happy mood going, this is progress. So take that goal away, 0-0. Is it still progress? Of course it is. The style.
Nope. What? 11th place in the Premier League? Progress? Not one bit, mate. Is it progress? To me, we finished 8th last season. And what? 5 games into the new season? 11th. I don't see that as progress at all, mate, to be honest. But Rashford is a baller. The fans were saying this past week. Typical fans who fall for the PR bollocks, mate. Let's get the narrative right here. They are part of the issue in this fan base. Fans who keep trusting the PR. Oh, trust the process, back the manager, this and that. It's like, no, people. If I want the manager out, I want the manager out. If I call out the players, I will call out the players. Because I'm not trusting any process. This manager, he may be your manager, but he's not my manager. It's as simple as that in the end of the day.
The football is still progress. The result is disappointing. So why would you move away from the results and start focusing on Rashford and Ten Hag? You know, why would you start focusing on some of the external bullshit that people are trying to pile on to pile pressure onto our football club, because they make money out of it? They make money out of it. The call-ins, the bullshit, the stories. They're doing it because we didn't lose. They haven't got an open goal story to pile in on Man United. So let's create a story. Manager said Rashford's been rotated. Rashford comes on for the last half an hour. That's not enough.
Oh, look, if we lost that game after dominating most of the game, we would have got absolutely roasted, and rightly so. That means we would have taken the absolute massive L that happened.
let's make up a story about he shouldn't have been dropped and there must have been something that's gone on. It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I wouldn't get away with it.
How do you know it's bullshit?
You wouldn't get away with it.
You keep saying it's bullshit, yeah? But how do you know? You don't have any evidence yet to back it up. Until I hear more information about this, I'm not going to say whether it's bullshit or true because I have no idea in that. So him keep saying, "Oh, it's a load of bullshit," in that it might not be. It might be the truth.
So why are they allowed to get away with it? And ultimately, forget Ten Hag, forget Rashford. If yesterday's performance is a sign of things to come, why would you let somebody, if something you love is on a tightrope and they're halfway along and they're doing really well, and you think they're going to make it to the other side, and someone starts trying to push them off, are you going to stand back and go, that's all right? Or are you going to go, get off them, leave them alone? And that's how I feel this morning. I'm like, just fucking leave them alone. Let them get on with what they're doing. Stop trying to push them off. You're not United fans. You're scum. Leave them alone. Let them walk the walk. And if they fall off of their own accord...
Now, I think that's what's a little bit too far. Calling them scum. Because how do you know they're scum? You won't be saying that, will you? They got this spot on.
We will be there, and we will be wrong, and we will have to make changes. But they're just trying to derail us. That's literally what they're trying to do. They're trying to find angles all the time to derail us. Let's get into Rashford's head. Let's get into Garnacho's head. Let's get into Ten Hag's head. Let's try and derail Manchester United. And it's every fucking year. Every year. And look, I'm not going to lie. I've criticised players. I've criticised managers. But at the moment, I don't feel like doing it. It just feels lazy, reactionary, scripted.
It's not scripted though, is it? Look at what happened last season and at the start of this season. So saying that progress has been made, what progress, mate? Yeah? What progress? Let's get an outing right here.
There are people out there doing it, and I think it's scripted. I think it's scripted within the fan base to be there going, sack this manager, this player's shit. I just don't see it. I genuinely have
No, mate, it's not scripted, right? It's me giving my own personal opinion. I know he's not the right one for the long term. So that's why I want him out. Ball's ruled out. It's as simple as that.
no passion to start talking about replacing the manager or sacking this player or selling that player. I think we've got a squad. We go with the squad. We go with this manager until it fails. And I think there's a real chance that it can succeed, but it's not going to succeed if every time we don't win a game, there has to be a drama about it. I see no correlation between Rashford being on the bench and Garnacho being on the bench. I literally think it was a flip of the coin. I did think he would go with Rashford. I did say this. I was very surprised. I mean, to be honest, Ten Hag threw a curveball. And I don't know whether he did it deliberately, but when he kept Eriksen and Garnacho on against Barnsley until late in the game, and he took Rashford and Ugarte off after an hour, I was like, well, that's Rashford and Ugarte starting. He's given them an hour so that they're fresh for the Palace game. And then both of them are on the bench, and Eriksen and Garnacho starts. Now, maybe that was a deliberate curveball. Maybe he's aware that fans know how he works, and he's thinking, well, Glasner knows how I work, so I'm going to change it. But that's down to the manager. The manager must manage. Simple as that. Even though it's frustrating, being top of the missed chances table is better than bottom for chances created, says McCall. I mean, look.
See, that is a bit what hurts the most, is that we are top of the table for the most missed chances. It's like, wow, unbelievable. That's nowhere near sustainable. That's nowhere near acceptable, honestly.
We've got to put the ball in the back of the net. If there's one thing about Xerxes, he wasn't that prolific at Bologna. If there's one thing about Rasmus, he wasn't as prolific as he could have been last season. But then again, the chances weren't there. The chances are there now. We've got to start putting those chances away in the Premier League, because we can't go from one problem to another. We can't go from a good defence to creating chances and not putting in the back of the net. But look, I'd rather have that problem than the problem we've had for the last 12 months. All right, Mark, don't want to be far right, but the mainstream media are just pony, mate, says Tumbleweed. It's just the way we get treated over everybody else. And I heard somebody saying, well, Arteta wouldn't do this with Saka. What's that got to do with the price of bread? You know, you might do something with your missus that I don't. Like, what's that got to do with anything? Saka wouldn't get...
You know that saying, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. Well, it's a bit like with what Jamie Redknapp is saying. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, which is very, very, very true at the end of the day.
Treated like this by Arsenal. And yet, I listen to Arsenal fans saying Arteta doesn't rotate enough. Arteta never gives Saka a rest. So, and also, Arteta doesn't have a right winger that's nearly as good as Saka. We've got Garnacho and Rashford where, well, let's run a poll now. Who would you start against Spurs? Let's, you know, we've got 10,000 people watching and there'll be a load of people watching later who can get in the comment.
Here's who I would start against Spurs, right? I would start, if he's fit, Rasmus Højlund, definitely, because if you want a player to score goals, I think you can rely on Højlund to score more than Sirski, because Sirski is still new to the club, but the pressure is already on Sirski, because you don't get any time at Manchester United. Because the minute you kick that ball at Manchester United Football Club, expectation is huge on you. Let's get the narrative right here.
Who would, you know, this is a message to the mainstream. Who would you start against Spurs? Not 20, because that's, you know, that's what it is. But, you know, here's your message to the mainstream, right? If it's so obvious that Rashford should start every single game because he's like our Saka, you tell me in the chat who should start against Spurs, Garnacho or Rashford, right? I guarantee it's not going to be 90% for either of them because it's a decision to be made. And if I'm me, I'm sat in a room, if I could, with Rashford and Garnacho, and I'm saying, you're both playing really, really well at the moment. But you're not right wingers, you're not number 10s, and you're not strikers. You're both left wingers. And you're playing really, really well. But guess what? At the moment, neither of you are my starting left winger because you're both playing too well and you both offer different things. So there will be games where you start and there will be games where you come on. And there'll be games when you start and there'll be games when you come on. Now, if you're going to get moody because you want to start every week, you're at the wrong club. Go and play for Everton because they'll start you every week because you'll be their star player. But at Manchester United, you're both playing really, really well. I want to see that mentality week in, week out. I will pick who starts, but I respect both of you. You're both doing really, really well. It's not about being dropped. It's about being rotated. Now, crack on. Keep doing what you're doing. Because in a couple of weeks, you might be injured and you're playing every week. Or in a couple of weeks, you might be playing really badly and you're playing every week. So that's what we've got here. That's what we've got. We haven't got Arteta, who doesn't rotate much, playing Saka every week because it's his best player. And it's that bullshit because...
Looks like Mikel Arteta is starting to learn because he kept playing Bukayo Saka, but now he's giving Bukayo Saka more rest because he realised that Bukayo Saka cannot keep playing on this football for the whole 90 minutes because eventually he will burn out. Look at a couple of seasons ago when Arsenal were in the title race, they had an 8-point lead. Near the end of the season, he was absolutely exhausted, Saka. So you cannot keep playing players a full 90 minutes because eventually they will burn out.
When I heard somebody say, well, Arteta wouldn't have done this with Saka. He wouldn't have scored 3 goals in the last 2 and then put him on the bench for the next game. Rashford's not Saka. We've got Garnacho and Rashford, who are very, very good players at the moment. And rotation is absolutely fine. And hold on a minute, Pep would do that. Foden might have scored 3 goals in the last 2 games. He's not guaranteed to start at the weekend because he might rotate and put Bernardo Silva in the team or Doku in the team. So it's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. On the one hand, we talk about wanting a squad. We want a squad. We want a squad so that we can rotate. We want a big squad. So we get that. And then Rashford doesn't start. Oh, what's going on? Why isn't Rashford starting every minute of every game? And that's coming from the media. I mean, there are some United fans saying, but that's coming from the media. It's hypocrisy. It's absolute hypocrisy. Absolute hypocrisy. And on the one hand, you've got, I don't understand these signings United are making, very lackluster. We should be buying better players than this. I don't see it working. I don't see it working. Mazraoui and De Ligt come in, defence is a lot better, and we're playing out from the back. Radio silence. The criticism's there. They need to do this. They need. Mate, I listen to Jamie. I listen to fucking Redknapp. I listen to these ex-players, and last season all they were saying is United haven't got a big enough squad. They're conceding too many chances. They don't create chances. They're crap on the ball. They've got no style of play. Where are we now? We've got a squad. We're playing out from the back. We've got high possession. We're creating lots of chances. We're not conceding many goals. Let's fight. Wow. Rashford and Ten Hag look like they might have fallen out. I mean, there's no evidence for it.
You exactly made my point. There is no evidence for it. You know that saying, innocent until proven guilty in the end of the day. We know for sure that there's no evidence towards it yet. But Jamie Redknapp might have a good point at the end of the day.
There's no evidence for it. Neither of them look like they've fallen out, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe something has happened. And you sort of like just go.
Facts. This is what I said earlier. Absolute facts.
So shut up and bother with somebody else, because we know we're shit. Where we should be, we aren't there.
Okay, so it's taken you about 27 minutes into the video to admit that we are shit, because we are still. We're far from perfect, okay? But because the pound notes and that, he's delayed that as long as possible, because he knows if he says that early, that he won't get his brown envelopes payment. Let's get the narrative right here, people.
Man United fans already know we're shit. Just fuck off and leave us alone. Like, we already know we've got a mountain to climb. When we're starting to climb the mountain, stop pulling us back. Man City are at the top of the mountain. Arsenal are at the top of the mountain. Liverpool are close to the top of the mountain. Go and pick on them. Leave us alone, because we've got a lot of work to do. And I will take those baby steps forward that I'm seeing, because we're right at the bottom of the mountain. Whenever they just want to derail us all the time. And look, you know, with regards to and look, this wasn't said yesterday. Whether Garnacho starts the game or Rashford starts the game, Garnacho came on against Southampton, got a man sent off and scored a goal. 20 minutes, half an hour, you've got enough time in the modern game. Rashford came on, didn't get a look in. Now, is that on Rashford? Is that on United? I think Palace swamped the midfield in the last half an hour. There wasn't enough space. I think Rashford would have, been a decent player in the first half, but we went with Garnacho. Against Spurs, it might be Rashford who scores. I mean, I watched that Spurs game against Brentford. Brentford had some bloody good chances, very good chances indeed, and that was at Spurs. So I think, and you look at Wolves against Villa, the chances are there. Like, I'm not giving up on this. I think there is a real chance that if we can keep our confidence up and keep our focus up, we can give Spurs and Villa a good game and get to that international break and sort of, assess like we want to assess. We could lose both, and we're talking.
Yeah, of course we could lose both, because they are competitive teams. If you're not on it on the day, you'll get punished. And I know Spurs haven't been doing brilliant, and Villa, they had an okay-ish start, so it won't be easy. But if Man United comes to town, it's like, oh no, we're not scared of Man United, we'll go for it. All these content creators think, oh, Man United is scary, Man United are back, this and that. Hello, reality check. You need a reality check, people. There are still loads of issues resolved in this Man United team. So, no, we are not back in business yet. Let's get the narrative right here.
About Ten Hag out again, but I don't think we're in that position at the moment. Tumbleweed, thanks for being a member for 23 months. Ripper says, I don't remember the last time I watched Bruno play and thought that's the captain of my club. I could be wrong. He works hard, but I don't see that passionate leadership and grit. Just wanted your thoughts, Mark. Thank you very much for your super chat.
Thanks. You know, number 8 is not Man United's captain standards. We should be looking to get another captain at the football club, someone else to be captain. Yes, number 8's a good player, but he doesn't suit the captain role. I completely agree with that, fan. Thanks.
Get your comments in. I'm going to go through some of yours now. Look, I'm not here to dictate an opinion. I'm not here to disagree with what you're saying.
Why not? You know, well, it looks like you disagree with a lot of us balls ruled out fans, which I'm one of them, by the way. So, what, are you going to agree with me? Oh, no, of course you're not, because, you know, if your balls ruled out, you'll lose all your money in that. So, yeah, you're not going to agree with me, are you?
As Robert says, we've got to play well against Villa and Spurs. We have. I can't sit here in a week's time if Spurs beats us at Old Trafford and go, remember the 0-0 against Palace, though? We could have won that. Remember the Brighton game? We played well and Casemiro fucked it up. Ultimately, we've taken 1 point from Palace and Brighton away. We should have took at least 4. So points keep you in a job. That's what it's all about. I absolutely accept that. Criticism is absolutely fair. I just don't think unfair criticism is right. And I don't think speculative criticism is right, which is purposely done to try and derail us. We know there are journalists around Man United that will be desperately digging this morning to try and find a slither of something that they can say about Rashford and Ten Hag. They'll be desperately trying to do it. And that started because of Redknapp last night, and now they'll all be desperately digging. Now, I've been told it's got nothing to do with Rashford. What Ten Hag was talking about with professionalism has got nothing to do with Rashford. It might have been last season.
Professionalism. Again, he has to say no, doesn't he? Because he needs to protect the football club's PR. But we know for sure this manager is not professional because he goes on about PR bollocks a lot. So he's not professional, in my opinion.
Even if Ten Hag did say it about Rashford, he's not wrong. Because I think there's a different Rashford this season to last season, and you do need to be professional. But apparently, it's not to do with him.
See, what are we doing here? You think all of a sudden he's back in business after having 2 decent games and that? It's like, this is what I mean about modern football. It is absolutely in the bin. It's because of PR and that. Of course, like in the late 90s and early 2000s and that, social media didn't exist. And so you couldn't post any PR. The Premier League is one of the world's most famous football leagues, but it is a PR Emir League, people. Let's get the narrative right here. I am sick and tired of all the PR happening in the PR Emir League, honestly. Because as a football fan, I didn't grow up with that shit. The last decade or so, all I heard is PR and that. It's just, jarring, man.
With another player, and it may well come out in the next few days. I don't know who that is at the moment. All I've been told is it's not Rashford. So it's pointless speculating because I think that's wrong. But to try and derail things on false speculative stories is not fair. Ripper is talking about something factual. I've not changed my opinion having had a night's sleep. Sometimes I do. I'm sure you're the same. You're frustrated. You go to bed, you wake up, and tomorrow's another day, and you're like, I feel different.
Very rarely change my opinion. I do. It's like it takes a lot for me to change my opinion. Once I make up something, my mind on something, I stick to it because I'm not a flip-flop who spins it round like you spin me right round, baby, right round. No, I'm not one of them. I usually stick to my words. I very rarely change my mind. If I get something wrong, then I hold myself accountable and then maybe change my opinion, but it's very rare. But Man United must trust the PR. Oh, get out of here, mate. Hmm.
I don't feel different about Bruno. I thought the second half, this is Manchester United. Criticism is absolutely spot on when it's based on fact. And fact is your opinion. So my opinion is that we've got Mason Mount on the bench. We've got Rasmus on the bench. They're both fit. Rasmus comes on for 20 minutes, which means Mount can play 20 minutes. Bruno, from 55 minutes, fell apart. He had a 5-minute period where he couldn't pass a parcel. And yet he plays 90 minutes. And we've seen this before. It's been a calm, measured statement from many United fans for a very long time. Now, Ricky messaged me last night and he said, Bruno can't play that system. And I said, based on last night, I agree with you, Ricky. Bruno is brilliant in a counter-attacking team. He is. Fast-paced, don't have time to think, bang. When it slows down and it's possession, he makes mistakes. He wasn't making 10-yard passes when you can see a pass. It was careless, it was inconsistent, and you can't have that. And that's why I always wax lyrical about people like Odegaard, and I call him a magnetic number 10. I tell you who would have been a magnetic number 10. I tell you who'd work brilliant in a United system now, Mata at 27. Put Mata in Bruno's role at 27. That's exactly what you need.
Oh, he was a baller. I absolutely loved the one Mata because he gave everything for that Manchester United badge. The same as he gave everything for that Chelsea badge as well. He cared about football. He didn't care about the pound notes. He cared about the club badge and that. I love players like that. The ones who only play for the pound notes and that jog right on you. Them sort of players are not welcome at my football club.
Magnetic touch, pass. You know what Mata understood? Possession is the game. If I've got the ball, they haven't got the ball. They can't score without the ball. If we've got the ball, that's how you score. And that was Mata's thing. Bruno's thing is, where's the pass? Where's the pass right now? Where's the shot or the pass? Where's the killer pass right now? He's chaotic. And that's what he was yesterday. And you know what? Actually, I don't want to be critical of Ten Hag, but this is where I would agree. This one thing. I can't criticise Ten Hag for anything. And remember, Eriksen.
Because you're getting paid the pound notes, you're a brown envelope. So that's why you can't criticise a manager on anything, because if you criticise a manager on something, you'll lose all your sponsorship, all your money. Let's get the narrative right here, yeah? Stop trying to spin it on the fans that you can't criticise the manager. Of course you can criticise the manager. Of course you can criticise the players. What are we doing here, people? See, YouTubers like this who get paid for sponsorships and that by the football clubs and that are part of the issue, how modern day football standards is in the bin. Let's get the narrative right here.
Was the trapdoor. I knew it, you knew it, everybody knew it. When the team news came out yesterday, my tweet was stunned, and that is brave. What I meant by that is, if that goes wrong, that's the trapdoor for Ten Hag. If we get beat 3-0 because the midfield gets dominated, Ten Hag has done himself over big time. He was right to play Eriksen. You won't get many people acknowledging that, but the Eriksen selection was absolutely spot on. He won't get any credit for it, and he should do. It was a spot. It wasn't Eriksen's fault we didn't win the game. Eriksen didn't have a shot. So Eriksen's selection was spot on. Keeping Bruno on for the last 20 minutes for me was wrong. And I think as well, when Palace in the last 20 minutes compacted their midfield, that made it even more important to have somebody in the 10 who was patient on the ball, because there was less space and they were playing deeper. So Bruno, with less space and a team playing deeper, is never going to find that Hollywood pass. That ball over the top or whatever. He's never going to find it. So I think a lot of people would agree with this statement, and I have to say I agree with it as well. We saw it a lot last year. Bruno seems to be a player that never gets subbed. And that needs to change because he's not Mr. Manchester United. He's not Brian Robson. You know, he's not Eric Cantona. He's not Cristiano Ronaldo. He's not Wayne Rooney. He's a very good player, but he's not legendary status. There is no justification for keeping Bruno Fernandes on for 90 minutes. And when you've got a ready-made replacement...
Of course, if you have a bad game, you should get substituted. But if a manager does not substitute a player who's having a bad game, it just goes to show surely they are out of their depth. Let's get the narrative right here. Bulls ruled forever.
In Mason Mount, he should have made that change. Like, and as I said yesterday, if you're Mason Mount and you're sat there watching, you're going, I've got back from injury. Please, God, stay fit. But then your head's going negative again, going, where am I going to get on this pitch? Like, he's already got 4 wingers. He's got 2 strikers. He's got loads of midfielders. My best position is 10, and he won't even put me on when the 10's playing shit. So that, to me, is favouritism, nepotism, and it's going to cause us problems. Now, look, I don't necessarily think Mount coming on wins us the game. I don't necessarily think taking Bruno off makes a 0-0 a 1-0. But it didn't make a 0-0 a 1-0 keeping him on, did it? So for me, the change should have happened. So I agree with you, Ripper. It should happen. But also, I have to say that Ten Hag's not the first manager in the world to have favourites that he won't take off. It's about having the right one, isn't it? Interestingly, on the poll, who would you start against Spurs, Garnacho or Rashford? 70% are saying Garnacho. So I think it's more 50-50, if I'm being honest, personally. I really like Garnacho. And he could have had a couple of goals yesterday, but I don't think Rashford... What we can't have is, we can't have ego at this football club. I think Garnacho has handled being on the bench brilliantly, and he comes on with a point to prove. It's almost an insult. And I think when Rashford came on yesterday, I don't know whether he's the sort of player that can deal with that. I think he wants to start. He's got to learn to take it as an insult and prove from the bench, because we can't. I don't think Rashford's good enough that we start him every week. I think he will start, but I think he's got to be able to come off the bench and make an impact. And yesterday, it's unfair to judge him on that half an hour because Palace changed tactically, but he didn't look like when Garnacho comes on. He didn't look like he was, I'm going to prove a point here. He looked a little bit, didn't look like he did for the last 2 games. And that's not Ten Hag's responsibility. And that's not our responsibility. That's his responsibility. Not every player starts Man United every single game.
Not the manager's responsibility. I think you find it is the manager's responsibility because he's the one picking the team, isn't he? Let's get the narrative right here. Again, because the money, brown envelope and that, he won't call it out. So this is what I don't understand, where literally he called out Jose Mourinho, but he will not call out this manager. Just call out this manager, for fuck's sakes. Doesn't matter if you lose a little bit of money. At least you're speaking the truth and that. Dear me, what are we doing here, people? Yeah? Real talk. What the fuck are we doing?
And if you don't start, you've got to prove yourself from the bench. And Garnacho's been very good at that this season. So I think Rashford, if he's going to be on the bench against Spurs or whenever else, when he comes on, he's got to grab that opportunity. And you know, it would be such a shame if he dropped off again. Robert says this live chat is in the main is a bunch of Rashford haters. He's our best player. He got dropped yesterday and we didn't score. He ain't going anywhere. Yeah, but Robert, I'm very surprised at you, Robert, because that just sounds completely the other way. I always thought you were quite level-headed. So you've just called the live chat a bunch of Rashford haters, and then you've classed yourself as Rashford FC. I don't think that moves the conversation forward.
Again, how do you know that they're number 10 haters? Their majority of them be number 10 lover boys. Couple maybe number 10 haters, but this is the thing. I don't actually hate number 10. I just hate the way he's been performing. It's as simple as that at the end of the day. You know, he's out there doing a living, playing for the football club and that, fine. But you need to do your job, yeah? As a footballer, you need to put aside the community work you're doing and focus on the stuff you're doing out on pitch, yeah? Let's get an announcing right here, people. Mason Mount is a baller. Your club is ruining him, geese. Yeah, I agree.
Would have said is there's a lot of people who are unfairly hating on Rashford in this chat. I personally think he's one of our best players, and I would have started him yesterday.
Okay, mate, good one. Good one. You generally think he's one of our best players in the team. Oh my fucking days. What are we doing here, man? Seriously, you not forgotten how poor he was last season and how poor he started this season as well. See what I mean? All of a sudden, these fans like to spin the narrative that he is all of a sudden the best thing since sliced bread. It's like, seriously, what the fuck are we doing here, people? Oh my goodness me, man. Honestly, that is the most funniest joke I've actually heard in a while. Good, okay, mate. Good one. Good one. Dear me.
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that, but yours is just a little bit. You know, I don't think you ever win an argument when you label a load of people one thing and then you categorically say you're like toxic positivity and toxic negativity. I think you got to be more in the middle. Mark, I have a theory that Ineos will go all out for Europa League and the sacking of Ten Hag won't be on the league solely as we're still building, says Alex. Look, the Europa League starts this week. Alex, I look at that Europa League and funnily enough, I think Spurs and us are the favourites on paper. I also think that...
Whoa. Let's wait a second. Last season, we were in the Champions League group, right? What we should have got out on. But unfortunately, we weren't good enough. So that's why we got eliminated from the Champions League in a group, what we should have got out of. So what's to say that we're going to do any better in the Europa League? Let's get the narrative right here, people. Because you just don't know, do you? That club is finished if Rashford is your best player. I know, I can't believe he said that, honestly. What a fucking joke.
I don't think Spurs look like a bad side, and I'm really looking forward to that game next weekend against Spurs. But look, we've got to move on from last night. I find it difficult, and I don't know how you feel, but I just feel that from last night, I'm going to take the positives. Because if I take the negatives, it doesn't feel right. I'm going to take the positives. I'm going to defend the team. I'm going to defend the players. And I'm going to go, look, we need to keep this unity. And the only unity that matters that I was brought up on is a siege mentality, which Ten Hag always, which Sir Alex Ferguson always said. Media have always hated United. It's nothing new. For the younger lot, I think you listen to the media too much. We didn't used to listen to them.
Again, because of social media. That's why these younger generation fans listen to the media, because social media needs to play a big part in that. Goldfish, go and get some help for your ball-trolled obsession. Thanks, Michael.Chelsea FC. It's like, what I don't understand is why he keeps on protecting this manager when he used to go out a manager who was about 50 times better than him, Jose Mourinho. It's like he called him out so many times, and literally Jose Mourinho is one of the best managers in the world. But according to some of these fans, they think this manager is the best manager we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson. I mean, get the fuck out of here.
The naughties, we wouldn't listen to them. Like we always knew, hated, adored, but never ignored. And the press hated us. They hated us. And Sir Alex was very clever in making a siege mentality. And in fairness, I don't think Ten Hag's not doing that. You know, he had a pop at Shearer 2 weeks ago. He called Redknapp out last night and said he's talking ridiculous stuff about a fallout when it was rotation. But obviously it's easier.
Again, just to protect the football club's PR. That's why he called out Jamie Redknapp.
To create a siege mentality when you've got a manager that can win everything. But we need to build that siege mentality because this is nothing new from the media. They always try to derail Manchester United. So I choose to be more positive. I think that, look, if we lose against Spurs next week, there'll be plenty of reasons to be negative. But I think that a draw against Crystal Palace isn't ideal, but we've got no divine right to demand that we win at Selhurst Park. It's not a given that we.
I think you find that us fans who actually know about football, us ones who have elite standards, expect us to go to Selhurst Park and get all 3 points. Because if we don't, as far as I'm concerned, that is failure. That is Man United's club's standards.
To do that. I don't know how many times we've won at Selhurst Park in the last 10 years, in fact. So I'll take the positives until the negatives bite me on the face, I suppose. And if we beat Spurs next week and we beat Aston Villa, then that point won't even matter. That point's not going to be a bad point, is what I'm trying to say. That point against Palace is not a bad point if you surround it with victories.
To me, right, that point is absolutely irrelevant because when you had all that possession and still not found the back of the net, it is absolute suicide. Honestly, to me, it felt like a defeat. But just be happy you got a point at Selhurst Park. No, I want all 3 points.
It's a bad point if you go and draw again or you lose. So I'm just going to choose to take the positives. And the positives for me, I can't lie to myself when the tweets are there. I said in the first half, what a start. How have we scored? High possession, high defensive line, high chance creation. They're probably the 3 things fundamentally I want. I want a high defensive line, I want high possession, and I want high chances. Can't really argue with 60 minutes of United yesterday. And also, at this level, the opposition away from home, when you're away from home, are always going to have chances. They're always going to have chances. I watched Brentford Spurs. Spurs win 3-1. If you haven't watched it, you're probably thinking, easy home win. Bollocks. Vicario should have had... I don't know whether you can get sent off for what Vicario did, but Brighton had 2 really good... Brentford had 2 really good chances as well. So you're always going to give chances. Robert says, I hope he doesn't drop Rashford again when it matters. Robert's woke up in a Rashford FC shirt. I don't know what's wrong with Robert this morning. I think rotation is absolutely fine. What you're saying, Robert, is you just want Rashford to be picked every game, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Garnacho being picked every game. I don't agree with Xerxes being picked every game. I don't agree with Bruno being picked every game. I don't see the point in...
You're a professional footballer, right? You should be picked every game, but not necessarily playing the whole 90 minutes. What are we doing here?
Having this 16, 17-man squad of people like Delo and Mazraoui, Yoro, De Ligt, Martinez, Agate, Casemiro, Mainu, Ericsson, Mount, Bruno, Xerxes, Rasmus, Rashford, Garnacho, Ahmad. You've got all these players. They can't all start. I want to see rotation. We beat Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea in his first year to finish top 4. I don't see that happening again if we can't beat the smaller teams, says Sanil. Rome wasn't built in a day, so we should have won yesterday, but I choose to take the positives. The result yesterday...
Of course we should have fucking won. We're Manchester United's football club. We should be going to Selhurst Park and getting all 3 points.
Today was disappointing, but people wanted us to control games and a style of play. We did that yesterday and people complained. Do we really know as a fan base what we want? No, I don't think some people do, Patrick, and I think that is a great point. I think people...
I do, as a football fan, know what I want. I want this manager out, and I want number 10 to improve on his performances or jog on. It's as simple as that. What does Brentford have anything to do with it? I know, it's ridiculous, mate, isn't it? Oh, dear me.
See negativity in anything as much as some people are overly positive. I choose to see the positive yesterday because I was very impressed with how he played. And the last thing I want is for this team to drop its heads. Hopefully on Wednesday night, we play well again. We build the confidence up again, and then we bring them back to Old Trafford and we win against Spurs. I know times were different, but do you think his brand and media hype would have got Rashford sold if he played in the Sir Alex era, says Ross? Rashford wouldn't get picked for Sir Alex. Simple as that. He wouldn't be good enough.
Literally, he was having him out the door faster, or you say, but, if Rashford carry on performing like that, Sir Alex Ferguson would not have tolerated it. Shall I tell you why? Because he had elite, high standards. Let's have it right here, people.
There's no player in the current team that really would be in a Sir Alex Ferguson decent side. I think he'd value Garnacho and Ahmad because they're young wingers, and he always did that. But I think Rashford at 26 would be on the bench for a Sir Alex Ferguson side, as would Bruno, to be honest. There's not many people in this current United side that would start in a Sir Alex Ferguson side that won a title. And that's what we're trying to get to. We're always centre of attention. It's frustration why we get targeted by the media, says Ewan. Eric Ten Hag still can't get in.
Look, this is the thing. Not just Man United get targeted by the media. Chelsea get targeted by the media. Arsenal get targeted by the media. Liverpool get targeted by the media. Newcastle, Man City, well, the media keep targeting them, don't they? With 115, 115. It's like, what are we doing here, people? And I don't think Man City are going to get heavily punished, to be honest. I think all they'll get is a massive fine, and that'll be the end of that. But yeah, you'll still have people crying about the matter, won't you? So it's a no-win situation, really, if you're Man City. You know, if you lose the case, you're going to get hammered. If you win the case, you're going to get hammered by the media.
Game management and subs rights as United won. It's literal facts that Sancho is better than Rashford. Let's not pretend that Sancho is not better, says Sheep. Mate, did you actually watch Chelsea yesterday? Because people claiming that as an assist for Sancho. I mean, he gives it to Jackson, who runs 40 yards and slips it in the front post. I don't think Sancho is factually better than Marcus Rashford. I think that's a strong...
This goes to show the bald ruled was part of the issue to why Jadon Sancho was underperforming. Because look, he's gone to Chelsea and he's got 2 assists already.
Statement. Sean Turner says, I agree with the back line, but he also has 2 strikers that he wanted that I'm going to guess won't get 20 goals between them in the league. I think it's unfair. Rasmus hasn't really started yet. Bruno's form is hindering this team. Be brave, Ten Hag says it's dead. Andrew Ebanks, welcome to Members Club. Objectivity is vital for improvement, not play blind, says United 1. We just need to put the ball behind the net. That's it. For example, keep it simple. That Bruno outside foot finish was absolutely not required, mate. Ankit, that pissed me off out of any. You know the one where Garnacho hits the bar? I can understand that. He hits it well. He hits the bar. There's a couple of chances that, you know, the Litz header you want to score. Bruno's chance is not easy. It's just how he hits it. If he hits it with his laces and he hits the post or the keeper saves it, I'm not bothered. But why does he use the outside of his foot? What? And I know in training, he probably puts that in the back of the net. And to be fair, Nicholas Jackson did it with his second goal yesterday. But just put your fucking laces through it. It's 0-0. Don't, when you're 2-0 up or 1-0 up, try outside of the foot, but just fucking put your laces through it. It's Bruno's finishing for the last year hasn't been as good as it was in his first year. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. But, Andrew Ebanks, welcome to the Members Club. But look, I'll say this because there's a video on the channel. I think I did it. I'm going to go and find it, actually. I did a video in March. I did the video about Onana. We did one about Anthony, sort of analysing them as players and whether they're ultimately going to be good enough for United. And look, let's not forget Onana in the last 2 weeks, penalty save and that double save, massive. So he deserves his flowers, 100%. But, long term, do I think he's still got deficiencies? Hopefully not, but I still think they stand. But we're talking Bruno here. I did a video on Bruno in March talking about, is he the right number 10 to play in a team we want to build? Because I know, like I know that what we're seeing now is what Ten Hag has always wanted to do. Whether it's going to work and whether we can build from it, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think there is a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to criticise Bruno in the way that he's playing at the moment. But
Of course you can criticise him. If you're underperforming, call him out. It's as simple as that. 115. Boring. It's jarring, mate. Take my club out of your mouth, Goldfish, you dick rider, balls rules, lover. Facts.
where I think a line is crossed is where people are starting saying he's shit, he's useless, let's get rid of him. Because that's not going to happen. The way I look at Bruno,
Of course that's not going to happen. Because, number 8's the club captain, isn't he? So they're not all of a sudden going to place him on the transfer market, are they? Because they'll know that there'll be backlash about it. Now, so many fans will start crying. This is what I mean. Modern football is absolutely in the bin.
the moment is he the right player for this system? Yes, he can do it, but he needs a bloody good shouting at, really. I hope there is somebody that can take him aside and say, you're not doing your job properly. I don't know how much power he's got in the dressing room. I don't know what Bruno's like. Have we got somebody that can do that? Because I'll tell you for free, it's a very good conversation at the moment that if you took Bruno out and you put James Maddison in, would we be a better team? It's easy for me to say Odegaard, but what if you swapped Bruno with James Maddison? Now, Bruno's better than James Maddison, but I'm talking about style. Maddison gets the ball, is quite magnetic and plays the ball. Bruno is not magnetic and doesn't always play the right pass. And sometimes you can have look, Cristiano Ronaldo is better than a lot of strikers, but is he the right team for certain systems? No, he's not.
Yes, because he's one of the best in the world, and he actually called out the balls ruled in this football club. He actually landed the men rules. Cristiano Ronaldo is an absolute legend to Manchester United Football Club, and a lot of fans should be thanking him, but no. Instead, they're calling him out, aren't they? Because they favour this manager more than Cristiano Ronaldo, where I was team Cristiano Ronaldo since day one after he did that interview, and I stick by it almost 2 years later.
He works in some systems, doesn't work in others. I think with Bruno, we know he works in a counter-attacking team. He's proved it for years. But does he work in a possession-based team where you've got to be patient? And that is a question of which we need the answer. And yesterday, the answer was no. So I think if you took a number 10, look, I'm going to use Odegaard in this one. If you put Odegaard where Bruno is yesterday, I think we win that game. Because I just think he'd look after the ball and probe. He'd be like, give me the ball. Okay, that pass isn't on. You have it. Now give it me. Probe. All Odegaard and De Bruyne, all they want to do is keep probing until the opportunities come. Bruno's not that type of number 10. And we need that type of number 10 the way we're playing at the moment. We definitely do. And that's why Xerxes works quite well, because he's willing to put in the hard yards for everybody else. But yeah, look, I still think Bruno's obviously he's just signed a new contract. He's the captain of the team. He's not about to be sold. I think he's a very, very important player for us. But I can't sit here and lie and say that the second half yesterday was bordering on atrocious, and he should have been taken off. And somebody should be taking him aside and showing him, look, it's not my job. But if I was at Carrington tomorrow, if I was Ten Hag, I'd just do it 1-to-1. I'd take him into the cinema room. I'd play the second half. In fact, I'd have all the clips so we don't have to watch 45 minutes. I'd play every single one of his bad passes, and I'd play every one of his good passes. And I'd say, right, Bruno, we're going to watch the second half. In this situation, why are you passing that ball with the outside of your foot? It's a simple pass to Eriksen. You try and do it with the outside of your foot. We give possession away. What's important is possession, Bruno. You've got to make that pass.
No, he probably won't go ahead and do that. He'll probably say to the captain, number 8, oh, you're the best thing since sliced bread. Keep on going. You're doing good for Manchester United Football Club and this and that. It's like, it's where football's at, man. Seriously. Why don't you just call it out, yeah? CR7, who the ball trolled, got rid of, you mean? Absolutely. I mean, literally the ball trolled and the Glazers should be absolutely ashamed the way they got rid of Cristiano Ronaldo when literally he exposed them both. But yet, according to loads of brown envelopes and that, they said Cristiano Ronaldo was part of the issue. No, he was spot on, people. Let's get the narrative right here.
It's unacceptable. In this situation, why are you misplacing this pass? Why are you trying that pass? That's what he needs to be told. And I would say to him, look, you're my captain. You're my most important player in that sense. But if you put in a performance like that again, I will have to take you off. Because what I want is possession. What I want is to probe. And what I want is to win games. And if we're giving the ball away through sloppiness like that, then I can't have you on the pitch. But I don't know whether we're going to do that. Because as we know in the history of football, some managers don't sub certain players and keep them on. Bruno is capable of doing it. It's almost a rewiring of his brain because Bruno's been in a United side for years where I know what Bruno is. He's even said it himself. I'm a risk taker. I'm not going to stop taking risky passes, but risk-taking passes in a team that's trying to be more structured doesn't go together, does it? It's as bad as playing a slow defender in a high line. It doesn't work. So it's a proper grown-up conversation, and it's one that we've been discussing for probably 8 months. Can Bruno Fernandes play in a patient, possession-based side in the final third? Well, based on the second half yesterday, no. Based on the first half, yes. So it's sort of like, how do we solve that? Bruno's form is hindering this team. Be brave, Ten Hag, because it's dead. I don't think it's a droppable thing. I think it's an education thing. Anyway, look, thanks everybody this morning. Don't forget, I'm on That's Football tonight.
Okay. There's a couple of good points he did make, but mainly banger mash waffle as usual, PR talking ends. And he finally admitted after 27 minutes that Man United are shit and playing shit still, but it took him 27 minutes to mention it. Dear me. Why not mention it at the start, mate, yeah? Instead of waffling on and on and on and on and on and on before you finally admit the truth. Anyway, let's carry on. I know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to check out his match reaction to the Arsenal game. Let's see how much banger mash waffle he's talking about the Arsenal game. Aha, look who it is. That's football. Where is it? Oh, fuck's sake. I'll find it in a second, guys. Smash the likes as well. So that also helps our YouTube channel out an awful lot. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button, as I do plenty of Manchester United content on here. That's football. Here we go. Disgrace. Arsenal robbed by referee. Here we go. We gotta check this out, haven't we? This is going to be absolutely hilarious. What, Arsenal robbed? No. How about stupidity from Trossard, yeah? Let's get an narrative right here. Here we go. Let's check this out. This is going to be a comedy show. Skip survey. Here we go.
Hello, that's football. I tell you what, Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2. The first thing Mikel Arteta needs to do when he gets in that dressing room is pick up his mobile phone, contact Greater Manchester Police, and report the biggest robbery in history, because that is an absolute disgrace. And if anybody has got any other interpretation of it, whether you're Gary Neville, Gary Lineker, Howard Webb, or Gary Smith, it doesn't matter. That is an absolute disgrace. And at what point does somebody actually do something about this? Because the incompetence is absolutely incredible. Look, Man City score a legit goal with the last kick of the game. Again, you could argue that.
Yes, because Arsenal went to sleep. Apparently, they were complaining to the referee. So Man City took a quick corner and caught Arsenal out. See, that's why Man City are elite. That's why they set the standards high every year. But a lot of people be saying, oh, they cheated, this and that. Why don't you appreciate how much of a good run football club they really are?
Happened after the 7th minute of added time, just the same as Trossard's second yellow card happened after the allotted time. These things happen. Man City didn't deserve a point. Arsenal didn't deserve to lose. And those 2 points, we mustn't think that it's about the late equaliser, because the game was gone when that second yellow card happened. That was the point where Arsenal were deprived of the opportunity of winning the game. I think Arsenal have done incredibly well to get a point from that game. 45 minutes against Manchester City to only concede 1 goal when it was relentless is just an incredible defensive action. And look, flip it the other way. Man City score in the 65th minute and you defend it out and keep a draw. It's a great point. It's just the timing of the inevitable that makes Arsenal fans feel disappointed. But you should park that disappointment and focus again on the injustice. You've been absolutely robbed.
No, they weren't robbed, yeah? Because Arsenal were literally the ones who are naive, yeah? They switched off in the last minute, and Trossard is an absolute running for kicking the ball out of play. So, of course, that's going to be a second yellow card, isn't it? I mean, dear me. Oh, yeah, I bet you Terry Flowers has been saying something about Arsenal. He's a Manchester United fan, but yet he has an obsession with Arsenal. I mean, what are we doing here, people? Seriously. This is absolutely ridiculous.
The official Twitter account of PJ Moel has come out and said that the second yellow card was for kicking the ball away. I really think they might try and move their eggs around and say it was for a shoulder barge, which would still be an injustice. But kicking the ball away and getting a second yellow card, have we heard this before? Oh, it happened to Declan Rice. We've literally got video evidence of Bernardo Silva and Doku kicking the ball away before Trossard does it in the same half, in the same game, and not getting booked. Trossard does it, second yellow card, you're off the pitch. I mean, at what point do we acknowledge that? Because I've heard Gary Neville say, well, he shouldn't kick the ball away, it's a red card. Idiot. You're watching the same game as me. How can you say that? You can't pick and choose what's right and what's wrong. Consistency is what we're looking for. Kicking the ball away for being a second yellow card, fine. But do it to everybody. Don't put yourself in a situation, especially if your name's Michael Oliver, when last season you gave a dodgy offside to Man City, you gave a dodgy penalty in the Manchester derby to Man City, you didn't send Kovacic off for 2 red card tackles for Man City, and you didn't give Liverpool a penalty which could have changed the course of the title. You know, people forget this. People forget the fact that that penalty that Liverpool should have got at Anfield against Man City would have changed the title. It just gets swept under the carpet. The same referee last year, heavily involved in Man City decisions, does it again. I'm not saying it's corrupt. I'm saying it's incompetent. I'm saying it's egomania. It's absolutely incredible. Why is Howard Webb give?
He's just making that excuse, yeah, because he cannot stand Man City. Man City were robbed, you mean? Edgerson was fouled by Martinelli, which allowed Gabriel to get 3 headers, so Man City were robbed. I mean, everything was happening so quickly, mate. I need to see a replay now to see if that's what actually happened. But it was a crazy game of football, I'm not going to lie. Look, as a neutral, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, what a brilliant game of football, yeah?
That guy these games. At what point does Howard Webb think, you know what? What should I do for Man City against Arsenal? Should I give Michael Oliver the game, who had a big raft of bad decisions that went for Man City last season? Should I give him the game, or should I give it to one of the other referees who don't have that? I know I'll give it to Michael Oliver. And then you end up in a situation where he makes an absolute arse of this game. And all I can say is, well done, Arsenal, because actually you've kept the scoreline to something that maintains credibility to a game that has got none. There is no credibility in that game. Absolutely none. And the fact that Pep Guardiola is still moaning at the fourth official, I find it hilarious. I mean, is Pep Guardiola immune to any kind of injustice that doesn't happen to them? Like, he's moaning at the fourth official for a minute, talking about how quickly the free kick was taken. You've just played 45 minutes against 10 men, mate, on a freebie red card that never should have happened. And you're still moaning about that. Bernardo Silva's wandering around.
Hang on. Just going to charge up my phone a second. Plug it in. Here we go. Now let's carry on.
Moaning like somebody's nicked his bloody sweets. But I suppose that's a winning mentality, isn't it? When you never see your faults and you focus in on everything that you see as an injustice to yourself. There is only one winner in that argument for me, and that is Arsenal. I find it absolutely incredible. And the question has to be, why is it that we continue to dilute this great game in this country? Like, we had a brilliant game at 2-1. Arsenal are 1-0 down. Very good goal for Haaland. Then we get a great equaliser from Calafiori. Then we get a brilliant header from Gabriel. And we've got a title-deciding game between the two best teams in the country. At half-time, we're thinking, what a second half. And then right before...
Two best teams in the country. I mean, Arsenal drawn a couple already. Who's to say that Liverpool won't be Man City's closest title challengers? Because I reckon Liverpool, the way they're playing at the moment, they'll be in the mix as well. It's like, to me, and Arsenal didn't sign a proper number 9, did they? So they've only got themselves to blame.
For half-time, we get an incredibly inconsistently inconceivable red card, which changes the whole game. And to be honest with you, that second half was shit. If we're being honest, it's Arsenal having to defend for 45 minutes against Man City, trying to find a chance against the red wall, and eventually the deflection happens and they get the goal that we thought they would do. But the second half was crap, and it was ruined by the official. I think Man City...
No. The main name in the game is, if you kick the ball, if you're on the yellow cards, it's the second yellow card. Or, if you're not being booked, you kick the ball away, it's a yellow card. So, it's like, he really hates Man City, doesn't he? If he carries on going on about saying Arsenal robbed and that. Like, when we went to the Etihad last season, when we lost, 3-1 or 4-1 to Man City? Guess what he put in the video thumbnail? Robbed. Man United robbed. No, more like outplayed, mate, yeah? Man United fans cocksucking Arsenal again. Talk about tragic. I mean, in the early 2000s, Michael Chelsea FC, Arsenal were our bitter rivals.
Walk out of that, absolutely lucky. And Arsenal walk out of that, absolutely robbed. And I just don't know what to say anymore, because I feel that this just keeps happening more and more and more and more. And especially in big games. It's just incredible. And also, you know, what makes me laugh about Michael Oliver there is the ego. It's the ego to not give yourself time. I'll give you a bit of life advice. When there is a big decision to be made in front of you, just take a beat. Take a beat. He can't get the card out quick enough. If he'd taken a beat and even spoken to his VAR assistant and gone, I'm really thinking about sending him off for a second yellow because he's kicked the ball away. The VAR guy might have gone, the problem with that, Michael, is that Doku did it and you didn't book him. And he'll go, oh yeah, I didn't actually. Okay, I'm just going to give a free kick. Because he knows he didn't book Doku. He knows he didn't because Declan Rice said to him, he's kicked the ball away. Declan Rice literally says to Michael Oliver, he's just kicked the ball away because Declan Rice has been sent off for it. So he goes, he's just kicked the ball away. And Michael Oliver goes, no, play on. So, I mean, and then minutes later, he's doing it to an Arsenal player. This is going to be very interesting how this plays out, because how Ref Watch and how Howard Webb and Michael Owen justify this. I don't expect anything better from Sky or the radio stations because they're in it with them. They're there to protect them. They're not going to say anything against them. But Howard Webb, Michael Oliver, and Michael Owen, they've got to come out and justify how one guy gets a second yellow or a yellow card for kicking the ball away, but two others don't. And you can't. You just can't do it. You can't justify it. In the same game, in a game of that magnitude, we're treating one like not the other. How do you expect?
See, when you're a referee, right, literally, you're going to become under criticism, aren't you? Because at the end of the day, referees never get any credit because they're always in the spotlight. But Doku kicking the ball away, the referee must have called. It was in the rules, but when Arsenal did it, the referee spotted that it was illegal, and that so surely the referees are told how to referee in the game. It's like, just stop making these excuses, yeah? Dear me.
Football fans to watch that and then not go, something's going on here. I don't think there is. I don't think it's corrupt, but people will say it is because they'll go, how can you treat one team like that and one team like that? How are they allowed to do it and they're not allowed to do it? Why is it that you only get a yellow card for kicking the ball away if you've got an Arsenal shirt on this season? I know. And you've even got people saying, well, the reason Doku didn't get a yellow card for kicking the ball away is because he poked it away and Trossard booted it away. You might want to see Declan Rice's second yellow card. And Ant could kick the ball harder than Declan Rice did. So, no, they're bang to rights. They've absolutely, you know, the only saving grace is that Arsenal take a point, but Arsenal should have took all three, and that would have been a far different situation because Man City is still top of the league and they're still massive favourites. And if Arsenal had won that game, who knows what could happen? Disgusting, disgrace. Get your comments in, smash a like on the video. I'm live at United Stand at 8 o'clock. I'll speak to you all later.
Oh, wow. What the fuck, man? It was a red card to Trossard. Goldbridge, stop riding AFC Robbie's cock you running. Oh, you're mad, mate, honestly. But you're talking facts, honestly, mate. Oh, here we go. Look at that. AFTV. Inconsistent refs ruining football. Robbie rant. Man City 2, Arsenal 2. Oh my God, we gotta watch this. This is gonna be fucking brilliant.
Water-wise. Pure, clean, healthy.
That's an ad. We'll just let the ads roll, and then we'll get on with the reaction.
This video is powered by Dr. Cynic, one of the world's leading hair transplant centres and a top choice among football superstars.
Yeah, nobody cares. Get on with the match reaction.
Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link below for your free consultation. I'm even thinking about getting it done myself.
Hi, welcome to AFTV. I've got Robbie with me. We've just drawn 2-2 to Man City here at the Etihad. so many huge moments, so many big decisions being made. A lot of people said they're proud of the boys. Where after this performance, a 2-2 should have been 2-1. Ended 2-2 in the end.
Yeah, listen, first of all, got to say, so proud today, you know what I mean, to hold out for 45 minutes, well, nearly longer than that when you add on all the extra time, you know, against the champions here, you know what I mean? That was an unbelievable defensive performance and only a sort of deflected goal at the end, you know, and they didn't deserve that. I think we deserve to win this game today. And yet again, a game ruined by these.
You deserved to win the game, did you? How about all the possession Man City had in the second half? It was obvious that they were going to break you guys down eventually. Again, excuses, honestly.
New directives or whatever from the referee and inconsistencies yet again. If Trossard kicks the ball away, then why was Doku not booked for doing the exact same thing earlier on in that half? It's the Brighton game all over again. What are they going to come out and say? The inconsistencies of these dreadful referees continue, right? Don't get me wrong with the Trossard thing. He has to be careful. You know, if you know how bad the refs are, you can't be doing that, right? But there is no consistency in this league.
It's like if Man United draw a game or lose a game, do I go blaming the refs? No, I don't, because I don't like making excuses whatsoever. I like to be honest at the end of the day. Let's get the narrative right here. So all these Arsenal fans crying about the referees robbed them and that. No. How about you hold Trossard accountable? But literally, the reason why your team didn't win the game today.
We see it week in, week out. What are they going to come and say about this one? When they addressed the last one, they didn't say anything about the João Pedro kicking the ball away and saying how they were inconsistent. What are they going to say about this one?
Is anything going to change? You think
there's nothing going to change until, you know, they change. They're poor. The referees in this country, I'm sorry, right?
Killing the game.
The standard is poor, right? So that, you know, on half time now, you're thinking the worst. You're thinking, right, we're going to have to go 45 minutes here where they never ever lose, you know what I mean, up against them. What are we going to do? Well, what we did do, it was an unbelievable defensive performance. Everybody in that team, from the guys up front like Havertz and Martinelli, I thought were absolutely outstanding. The midfielders in Partey and Rice, you know, right back to the back four, who were absolutely amazing, and the goalkeeper as well. It was a defensive masterclass and only breached painfully right at the end. But I was so proud of that performance. And I think, right, you see now, Man City have got a new fear of Arsenal. They fear Arsenal. They know what we're made of now. You know what I mean?
Man City fear Arsenal. What the fuck, man? Literally, Man City have pipped Arsenal to the title twice. And all of a sudden, you think Man City actually fear Arsenal. Oh my goodness me. What are we doing here? No one cares, Teletubby. Man City should have taken all 3 points. Goldbridge clearly didn't watch.
You saw their fans at the end. They're celebrating a draw, Rodri.
Yeah.
Yeah? You are celebrating. Remember, Rodri last year was talking about how we didn't come to win. We didn't come to win. Man City today and their fans are celebrating a draw.
Against 10 men Arsenal.
Because they know, against 10 men, because they know how good this side is. They know how good we can defend. And I think rather than us take it as a pure negative, we got to take this as a positive and say, listen, we got a very, very good side here that is capable of winning this league, right? We've just had 3 of the toughest away games that you can have in this league. We've had to go away to Villa, away to Tottenham, now away at City, and we've not lost the game, right? And as a matter of fact, we've only, we just in the last minute dropped 2 points there. So every Arsenal fan's got to be really proud of this, but it's frustrating because we nearly did it. Yeah, we nearly held on to it, but the fact that they're celebrating a point shows you how far that this Arsenal team's come. And We got a bloody good team here, man, I'm telling you.
So you're surprised to see Bukayo Saka being the one being subbed off? Have you heard anything of it where it's injured?
Yeah, I was surprised, but listen, at the end of the day, at halftime, it's all hands to the pump.
Yeah. If
he's not fully 100%, then you've got to send on players that are going to be able to, you know. And the other thing is as well, I think we would have held out had it.
That's the lad. Robbie Anderson getting held by Martinelli. Bad end.
Everyone's going down with cramp. You know, it's so early in the season to have a game like that where, you know, now you've got to be focused for the whole, you know, 90 plus, like 45 plus on defending. So it was really tough for them. Really, really tough. I don't expect to see a lot of them in that midweek game against Bolton. You know what I mean? Because that was a tough ask to go so long defending, but brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and I'm so proud of that team today.
Yeah, Rob, I need to ask you: do you think it's a you know, like the tie and rest? Does it feel like it's a conspiracy on Arsenal? Or do you think is it actually a conspiracy, or is it just poor refereeing? Is it poor stuff? What do you think it's down to? Is it across the whole Premier League, or does it feel like an Arsenal thing?
Well, listen, we're Arsenal fans, so we're always going to think it's a conspiracy. We're always going to think, but these decisions are always going against us, and there's no consistency in them. Had Docker been booked earlier on in the game, right, and that happens, then I think, right, listen, Trossard, come on, man. But, you know, and then also, I think some of these new rulings have to take into consideration common sense. You're in the heat of the battle, you're in these sort of games, you ain't whack the ball away. You know what I mean? I think it's getting ridiculous. I saw a game the other day when Chelsea was playing where the referee dished out around 15 cards for this new rule on dissent, when players were saying things like, yeah, referee, what's up? And he was giving them cards. I mean, they're overdoing it.
Oh, today, Marzo Skelly got booked as well. He was on the...
Overdoing it? No. It's like referees know when to get out a yellow card and a red card. You know, they are professionally trained, yeah? Honestly, it is jarring listening to all these excuses. But, you know, this is why I love absolutely cooking these sort of people, honestly. Brown envelopes, that's what they are. Brown envelopes. Wow, mate, you are still like, oh yeah, Hayden Cox. I'm absolutely cooking all these wrong-uns. Arsenal fans were the ones celebrating actual shameless FC. Yeah, because they think, oh, it's a point in the end today. It could come crucial come May and that. But Arsenal won't go on a consistent run, will they? Because they always find a way of bottling it.
I just think they're overcooking it, these referees, right? And the whole PGMOL, they're overcooking the whole thing. It's a simple game. We don't want to be talking about referees. We don't want to be dissing them. We don't even want to know about them.
Yeah, that's
a referee. That's why they wear black. They're supposed to be anonymous in the game, right? But they're not. Every week we're talking about them. I heard there was a decision in the game earlier on, Nottingham Forest. You know what I mean? I saw the Tottenham game yesterday with Vicario. But, you know what I mean? Every single game, we are talking about them.
Are they killing the game?
You know, we should be coming out here. We're supposed to be talking about, you know, our players, Declan Rice and Havertz and Haaland. And every week, we know the referees more than the players. Because we're coming out every week and we're talking about these guys. Why? Because the standard of the refereeing is poor and it's inconsistent. And if you've got inconsistent referees, you get disgruntled fans. Because we're like, well, hold on, why have you done that for one and that for the other? And that is what is happening week in, week out. It's got to stop.
Is it ruining the game for you?
It's ruining it. Of course it's ruining it. These refs are ruining the game.
Yeah.
They nearly ruined this. I mean, listen, for Arsenal fans, they've ruined it today. Because I truly believe, if it's 11 against...
No. Trossard is the one who ruins the game today. You know, he was naive. He was the one who got sent off. Why don't you hold your player accountable, yeah? As Lee Gunner would say, accountability is the best ability. Hold him accountable. Say you're not happy. Call it out. Stop making excuses to referees, yeah? Dear me. What are we doing here, people, yeah? Real talk, what are we doing?
We win this game today. We were in total control. When it went 2-1. Actually, if you saw City, they were rattled.
Yeah, passively.
Manchester City were rattled today. Rattled?
Did you see the starts of the game? Rattled. No, I wouldn't say they're rattled. Literally, before Rodri went off, they were in complete control. Arsenal could not get a foothold into the game.
You know, they got the first goal, Haaland, and they went too big. I thought even their announcer on the thing, I was like, yo, bro, you're going big with this announcement. Well done to Haaland, 100 goals and that. Yeah. Brilliant achievement. But the way the guy was going, I was like, yo, is this a testimonial? Yeah. Brother, it's 10 minutes gone. You got the whole game left. You guys are going too big. That's a great point. Then we get the other goal, Calafiori, brilliant strike. And then on a set piece, they were looking more worried than Tottenham. Mm. Everybody's scared of us on set pieces now. And then after that, they were rattled and we were on top. And had that game not gone to 11 against 10, I'm convinced we would have won it, but we're never going to know because of the referee.
Well, yeah, exactly. They only lost the last probably kick of the game. They got their goal. He's ruined the game. It's awful. Let's just quickly speak.
There's no guarantees you would have gone on to win the game anyway, because don't forget, Man City have an absolute machine. Erling Haaland at the end of the day.
Well, just some other defenders, the defence, the sleepers, the Gabriels, because after Haaland scored, you didn't really see him again. You saw David Raya, mate, again, week after week, we see him pull up unbelievable saves.
Absolutely. David Raya right now is the best keeper in the league for me. You know what I mean? The way he's playing at the moment. I'm not saying historically, but at the moment, he's the best keeper in the league. He's playing brilliantly. The defence is brilliant. And then I'm gutted for them today, man. I'm gutted. They should have held out. You know, just for them to take the plaudits. But they still, I love the way the fans still at the end gave them their full plaudits because that was a magnificent performance today. And this team is a serious team. And all the league, better be careful. The league got to stand up and watch this team. This Arsenal team is serious, right? We got close last year and we can do it this year, right? You know what I mean? If we go into hard, tough away games and we...
Really? You think you're going to get the better in the juggernauts, do you? I mean, your team needs to work on consistency first, yeah? Stop getting players sent off, then maybe, just maybe, it might be third time lucky in the football club. But until Mikel Arteta and the players stop making these mistakes, Man City will carry on pipping Arsenal to the title. It's as simple as that in the end of the day, people.
Coming away with big points, right? So,
do you truly believe that now? Is this a sign?
The signs were there last year, and the year before, but the signs in particular were there last year, and it's again another away game where we haven't lost. So the signs are there that this team is you know. And remember, we still got players like Marino to come back. There's no Odegaard today. I know they were missing De Bruyne, but there's no Odegaard today. The signs are good. The signs are good.
Not once did he call out Lissandro Trossard. Oh yeah, brown envelopes. He'll know that if he called out Lissandro Trossard, he'll be losing his big pay. Let's get the narrative right here, people. Here we go, let's have a look. The football Terrence. Let's see what Terry put. Football Terrence. Massive Arsenal points. City flop. City flop, eh? No, they are top of the table. I mean, the football Terrence, he's a Man United fan, but yet he's got an obsession with Arsenal. What are we doing here, people? Yeah, seriously. Arsenal heroes. Arsenal heroes can win the league. Okay, mate, good one, mate. Yeah, good one. Good one. Salah.
That was heroic by Arsenal's 10 men on that pitch. And the start of the beginning of this game, and I know Arsenal fans are going to feel downbeat. Arsenal fans are going to feel pissed off. Arsenal fans are going to be furious that they didn't get over the line. And there's lots to talk about around referees, time added on, everything. We'll get to that, okay? But City started today's game like a ball in a china shop. In the opening 14, 15, 16 minutes, it looked as if it could be a 3 or 4-0 win for City. Arsenal were not at the races. I was in our group chats. Rivals were laughing. Look at Arsenal. They're buried. They're finished. The disrespect towards this Arsenal team has become a joke. You can't rely on set pieces. Why did you buy David Raya, etc., and 100 other things. But Arsenal stepped up. Now, there was a quirk of fate. And I want to say right now at the beginning, I really hope that Rodri's okay. I hope that his knee injury isn't severe. But those innocuous...
I do hope so as well. I mean, oh my goodness me. That looks serious for Rodri. I'm not going to lie. I really hope he hasn't injured his ACL because he is a baller at the end of the day. And clearly, you saw how it affected Man City when he went off because they didn't have the same balance of play, did they? You know, because De Bruyne was injured, then Rodri went off. So they lost their creative spark in that. If Rodri was still on the pitch, no doubt about it, Man City would win that about 3-1 or 4-1, something like that. The second goal for Arsenal should not stood anyway. It was a blatant foul on Ederson. Robbie is talking out his bum cheeks again.
Moments typically are bad. But within a second of him coming off, Arsenal equalised with the most outrageous goal from Calafiori. A quickly taken free kick. We'll get to the decision from the referee later. Wonderful approach play from Martinelli. Excellent pass back to Calafiori. Weighted it excellently. And then the shot was just perfection into the top corner. And from that point, up until the last seconds of the first half, Arsenal became the better team. Arsenal were confident. They were growing. And they go 2-1 up from another set piece. Gabriel was my pick for FPL, by the way. I do like a newsletter for a company I work with. And I just said this week, if you're going to put anyone in your team, I said maybe a clean sheet, but I said he would score from a set piece, and he did. And Arsenal go 2-1 up, and they look really comfortable. You could hear a penny drop amongst the City fans. I'm sitting back here thinking this could be a turning point for Arsenal. And then Trossard, look, I absolutely agree Doku should have been booked in the first half of delaying the restart. But what Trossard did is a second yellow card. It cannot be defended, in my opinion. What can be challenged, and maybe that's later.
Of course it cannot be defended. You know, if you kick the ball out of play, that's a blatant yellow card. He's already on the yellow card, so he kicks out of play. Referee reached for his pocket and he gave him a second yellow card, said, right, off you go, mate. Yeah? Stop trying to blame the referee, yeah?
The show or another day is the nonsense the PGMOL came out with a year ago about we try to keep 11 men on the pitch. We don't want to overreact. We want to keep the game entertaining for the fans type stuff. Where the fuck has that gone? But that's another conversation. Trossard didn't just flick the ball away. He went to boot it after committing a foul. It was a moment of madness from him. And you think, oh, Arsenal could be in trouble here. City come out in the second half, all guns blazing, absolutely fired up, creating, I think it was 25, 26 attempts. Most of them weren't very good. Some brilliant saves from David Raya, but it was heroic in the second half from Arsenal. Now, Arsenal fans, what you're going to get from people that don't like you or Arsenal fans that don't like your club anymore is Tony Pulis would be proud. Oh, it was harambo. Retete. Tell me what any other club does 10 men away from home against Man City. In fact, today's game was such an anomaly football-wise. It's very hard for even professional pundits and ex-players to state what the right thing to do and wasn't to do is. Now, they conceded right at the end. They pick up a point, 2 points off the top. City stay top. But 2 weeks ago, and this is why perspective is needed here, and it's why I say it's a massive point for Arsenal. This time 2 weeks ago, everyone who hates Arteta, everybody that hates Arsenal, everybody that's not objective, even some Arsenal fans, what season's over. Rice is out, Odegaard's out.
This is the thing, right? I don't actually hate Arsenal, but I cannot stand their fans. They are absolutely annoying. Same as I don't like Man United fans. A lot of Man United fans in our fan base absolutely annoy the crap out of me, honestly. It's like these football clubs have got such an annoying fan bases at the end of the day. Terry Floppers, more like.
We've got to play Spurs, we've got Champions League, then go away to City. We're going to end up being 5, 8 points off the top. Season's over in September. You're sitting there 2 points off the top. City have still got to come to you in the league. And Arsenal are going to become a much better team this season. Their next 3 games, in comparison to their last few, are relatively easy. They will more than likely win.
So why is no one talking about Liverpool potentially being in the title race? Because what I've seen from them so far, they are capable of being in the title race. Yes, I know they lost to Nottingham Forest at Anfield, but they were incredible against AC Milan and Bournemouth. So there's no reason why Liverpool cannot be in the title race, in my opinion.
Yes, the underlying metrics don't look good, especially after that second half of defending, shots conceded per games, but context. That was heroic. From my point of view watching, that second half was heroic from Arsenal. And look, City, they persevered. They showed their quality in the end. John Stones, one of the subs, getting that equaliser. But they will be more gutted than Arsenal. In reality, they played against 10 men for 40.
Gutted, I think they'll be delighted in the end they got a point because they're top of the Premier League, and that's Man City's aim, is to be top of the Premier League at the end of the day. Let's get the narrative right here.
5 minutes, had 26, 27 attempts on goal in the second half, and equalised only in the last few moments. That is a disappointment. And interestingly, he scored a goal today, Haaland, and we'll touch on that later after people said he wouldn't. But all season, outside of Haaland, City have struggled to score. And outside that opening 15 minutes where they were amazing, Arsenal took over and nullified them again. It's an area they've got to focus on. And I think the injury to Rodri, nothing that we would ever celebrate here at the Football Terrace, is not just a leveler for Arsenal. If he indeed is going to be touching wood, he isn't. If he indeed is going to be out for a long time, is a leveler for Arsenal, a leveler for Liverpool. Villa will be looking at it and thinking, ooh, have we just witnessed City become slightly more mortal than they normally are? But for me, as I say, this will be bitterly disappointing, contextually speaking, for Manchester City. They took the lead, they were dominating, and then they played against 10 men, and they struggled. And they will feel lucky in the end. Although they had all those shots, let's be honest. One good shot from Guardiola that forced a save from David Raya, it was poor from Manchester City. It really, really was. But I think Arsenal should feel proud of that second half performance. You're well in this title race. I think you're proving yourself as a top team. And what will happen, anyone whose general disposition is to be negative will talk about the second half and maybe we should have attacked more and left another player up. We don't know what we don't know, but everybody is entitled to opinion, of course. But remember, anyone who's saying Arsenal were a bad team and can't attack, they dominated the majority of the first half at the Etihad. They didn't have most of the ball, but that isn't dominating a game. They had brilliant chances. They were dangerous. They were 2-1 up. So all this nonsense about Arsenal being a bad team and they're going to fall off this year, I think people have just got to drop the pretense and say what it is. They're a top outfit indeed. But overarching, this was nothing short of a wonderful, brilliant, fantastic game of football that I thoroughly enjoyed from start.
See, as a Manchester United fan, it's like, why does he have an obsession with Arsenal? Why don't you focus on us, yeah? Instead of he talking about Arsenal. It's like, I don't understand it. I really don't. It just goes to show, typical brown envelope. My hate for Arsenal has gone up since being on social media. They make Man United fans seem surprisingly normal in comparison. I mean, Arsenal fans are jarring, mate, honestly. The amount of trash what comes out of Arsenal fans' mouth is absolutely wow, unbelievable, unbelievable. But there you go. And today, it is what it is, mate.
To finish. Now, on the referee, I've mentioned I'll start with Trossard. It was a red card. It wasn't a little flick. He boots the ball away. And I understand Doku should have been booked in the first half. There were multiple players, I tweeted about it yesterday, that delayed restarts yesterday and didn't get booked. So I completely and utterly understand the frustration Arsenal fans have got with the lack of inconsistency, but it was certainly a red card. The first goal Arsenal scored, I know City fans are frustrated that Kyle Walker was pulled out of position and he wasn't given time to get back into position before the game was restarted. I see the argument, but equally, I'm looking at it and thinking, well, why is Kyle Walker not sprinting to get back into position? So I think there's a bit of 6 of one and half a dozen of another there. Time added on, I actually think there should have been maybe more than 7 minutes. There was a lot of time wasting from Arsenal. And by the way, that shows great maturity from them in that second half. Outside of that, I get people calling things out.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it didn't work, did it? Because this time wasting came back to bite them on the backside because there's about 9 minutes added on time in the end. So Arsenal were their own worst enemy on that one, in my own opinion.
I don't think the referee got, again, what you can call out is PGMOL's inconsistencies. Talking about we want to keep 11 men on the pitch, didn't do it today. Why are they not going?
Oh, here we go. The PGMOL again. Again, excuses. Get the fuck out of here. Seriously, man.
And why are they not giving everybody that delays a restart the yellow card? They gave Jesus one at the end, but his boot had come off. You can't restart a game while players on the pitch with their boot off. It's one of those weird situations again where you think, well, you're going to give him the ball, a booking because he kicked the ball away. But he was trying to point out that, no, don't let him restart. My boot's off. You're not allowed to. You're not actually, it's the rules. Games have to be stopped if the player's boots are off. So it's all these little things that I get. And I think City fans will be angry with some decisions today. I think Arsenal fans will be as well. And of course, we want to hear from you in the comment section. 7 minutes minutes turned into wait until they score. Yeah, but do you know why it went beyond that? And this is where I'm going to defend the referee slightly on this one. Is when the board went up. When the board went up to say how many minutes were being added on, there was like a minute or two delay. And that has to be added on. You can't just delay those minutes. Arsenal need to start a youth league and pay the rest 30.
Floppers will be on talk show soon with Rory Lemons and be suds and the other wrong and soon enough. Wouldn't surprise me, Michael Chelsea FC. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that happens, mate, to be honest.
For a game, joke crew, Doku, something, no card, Trossard off.
Okay, right. So, usual, they're trying to blame the PGMOL. I mean, what are we doing here, people? Seriously. Real talk, what are we doing? Right, let's see what Henry Talks Football is talking about, shall we? Has he done the radio? Henry Talks Football. A Tottenham fan. Here we go. Has he said anything about the game? Videos. Arsenal are mentality monsters. Really? You're a Tottenham fan, mate, and you're saying Arsenal are mentality monsters? He's another one who's sometimes is on talk shite and that. I think Henry Talks Football, as Lee Gunner likes to call him. Henry Talks Bollocks. Oh, we gotta check this out. Let's have a look to see what he's saying. Another Ron, and honestly.
Arsenal are mentality monsters. That performance 10 men for 45 minutes. The game plan from Mikel Arteta. David Raya, save after save after save. Urian Timber may be the best defensive fullback in the league right now. We're going to break it all down. Make sure you go down, hit that like button if you're enjoying the content. We've got so much to get through. So it's going to be probably a little bit of a longer video because there were so many talking points in this game. And make sure you have subscribed. We had nearly 400 subscribers over the weekend, and we are steamrolling our way towards 24,000 subscribers. Defensively, and the mentality from this Arsenal performance, it finishes Manchester City 2, Arsenal 2. A game of such fine margins. Arsenal was so close to going to arguably the hardest away ground from a Big Six perspective for Arsenal. Yes, they got a draw there last year, 0-0. Today, they've gone and scored twice and played 45 minutes with 10 men. Like, we're going to talk about it. Manchester City have a really strong start. I think it was Savinio looked very, very good. And Arteta did something different.
Oh, he's a baller, he is that. Savinio or Savio. I mean, you said he was going to be brilliant in that, and I completely agree. Absolutely fantastic performance by Savio. That pass he did to Erling Haaland was unreal. Unbelievable.
Today, he put Timber out on the right. Timber out on the left and Calafiori out on the right. And I think that was to try and deal with Savinio in the 1v1 positions, which we have seen so much. And he kind of started with it was almost a 4-4-2, but then at other times it was kind of a 4-2-3-1. And this is how he set up, as you can see, which was David Raya, the back four. Obviously, at times they switched in the game in the first half, the fullbacks. But defensively as a performance, I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. They're going to say Henry talks Arsenal, whatever. I'm just talking about it from a neutral. I thought City would really pepper them when they went down.
Yeah, because you're a Spurs fan, but yeah, you're having an obsession talking about Arsenal. Same as the football Terrence and that. He has an obsession talking about Arsenal when he's a Man United fan. Seriously, what are we doing here, people? Typical brown envelopes, honestly. Oh, it's just, jarring, man. But hey, not my problem, because I'm never going to become one of them YouTubers.
10 men. However, they dug in there. First goal, Savinio plays a ball through. It's an absolute diamond. David Raya doesn't know whether he's going to open his body up and guide it to the far corner. So he's kind of like in a bit of a frozen situation, and he tries to get his hand down to it. And it's a clever finish from Erling Haaland. Really, really clever finish. Then when you talk about how is your mental state, how are you mentally, how is your mentality to go 1-0 down behind against your title rivals? Your title rivals. And you don't just score once. You take the lead. And boy, oh boy, the finish from Calafiori is absolutely divine. It almost reminded me of Saliba's goal against Bournemouth a couple of years ago. It kind of had the same sort of trajectory into the net. An absolute sublime finish. It really was. Martinelli plays it to the edge of the box and he just whips it over to the far post. And a lot of Arsenal fans are going to feel depleted right now. I think it's a flipping excellent point. Yes, they were so close. You're playing with 10 men. And the way he set it up with the back five and the three in front, 2 defensive lines. We'll get onto the second half, but the first half, absolutely brilliant play from Calafiori. And I'm thinking, right, City, when City scored the first goal,
Calafiori, what an absolute unbelievable finish that was. That was an absolute rocket, a thunderbolt, and a goal. Fair play, yeah. That's a screamer. Henry looks like Sinead O'Connell. I'd rather not subscribe, thanks.
It did Arsenal to come out, but he stuck to the game plan, which was to counter-attack, because that's the way you beat Manchester City. If you think back to that Chelsea-Tottenham game when we went down to 9 men, we didn't try and counter-attack. We didn't try and change the defensive line. Our high line was still so bad, and that's how we suffered, because Chelsea had to put a ball over the box. And the second goal, Bukayo Saka didn't have the most busy games because he was sacrificed at half-time. And fair play, because that's big cojones to do that for Mikel Arteta. And the ball goes into the box from him. His only really goal involvement or moment in the game puts in a dangerous corner. And Gabriel gets his 16th goal from a centre-back position. It's at the level of goals he has scored from a centre-back is absolutely phenomenal. And then all hell breaks loose. Half-time, Leandro Trossard is sent off. Now, the PGMOL have got to answer for this.
Oh, here we go. The PGML and all that. Yet again, another brown envelope making excuses. The PGMOL. What are we doing here, people? Seriously. Shall I tell you why they're making excuses? The PGMOL? Pound notes, brown envelopes, because they know they're making the money. They know who to hold accountable, and that the PGMOL. Why is no one talking about Lisandro Trossard being the idiot? He's like literally cost his team in this game. Why is no one calling it out? This is the bit I don't understand. Dear me. It's an absolute disgrace, honestly.
I want to see a fair game. Jeremy Doku kicks the ball away, doesn't get booked. Yet Leandro Trossard does kick the ball away and gets booked. Same happened in the Arsenal-Brighton game. Declan Rice is booked, João Pedro is not. Now, for me personally, I think the barge in the back is justifiable of a foul. Probably a yellow card. However, they haven't booked him for that. They've booked him for kicking the ball away. And I just think that's absolute madness. If you're going to book Jeremy Doku, if you're going to book Leandro Trossard, you have to go out and book Jeremy Doku. An absolute, it's mad. It's an absolutely horrendous bit of refereeing for me. I think it's justifiable of a foul if you're going to book him for the barge, but he doesn't. But then you have to book Jeremy Doku. We all want a fair game. And the amount of decisions that have gone against teams like Wolves, I think Wolves had more goals ruled out from VAR or incorrect decisions. One of the two go against them last season. And if you think if those points would have gone for them, they probably would have finished around a lot higher in the league. Half time, Yuri and Timber, there's a picture online of his reaction. Fair play to Arteta, because to take off your star player in Bukayo Saka, puts on Ben White, and he kind of goes to a back five of Calafiori, Ben White, and then it was the three centre-backs. Sorry, Timber, Calafiori, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel. And the amount of defensive blocks, the amount of crosses that David Raya claimed, phenomenal defensive performance. Jose Mourinho-esque. And what he did was he resorted Manchester City to getting in the wide areas. So they had to do long shots. That was Diaz, Kyle Walker, Kovacic, Foden, because there was absolutely zero space because of how wide that defensive line is. And then he had three in front, which is Martinelli.
But when it mattered the most, Arsenal switched off and didn't stay. So it's our own fault in the end of the day.
Martinelli, Rice, and Havertz. The perfect game plan. And obviously, Gabriel, Calafiori, the second half starts to underplay. And City are just so poor in the final third, wasting chances, not enough urgency. And when the goal finally comes, it's in the 98th minute. And there was a couple of minutes overplayed, but it was justified because I don't think the ball was actually in play for so long. But potentially with the last kick of the game, John Stones makes it 2-2. A short corner has worked. I didn't really get the short corner at first, but it kind of made sense after a while because you've got three tall defenders in there. Or four at one point when you had Calafiori, White, Gabriel and Saliba. Four tall, strong, physical centre-halves that are all good in the air. So early and hard, it's like a 1v4. And Manchester City aren't blessed with huge amount of huge amount of other than tall players. Obviously, Rodri, his injury as well. So many talkings. Probably one of the best Premier League games I've seen in a long, long time. And that Rodri injury could be, if it's long term, 2 to 3 months, that is absolutely huge. Of course, no, De Bruyne, I don't think Foden did a huge amount this game. But the mentality boost that's going to give Arsenal now. You know, there's 1 point between Manchester City and Liverpool, and they're 2.
Who's to say? Because Rodri out being injured, all of a sudden Man City going to drop off. Remember that season Man City beat Liverpool to the title by 1 point? They were without Kevin De Bruyne all year, and they still won the Premier League title. So who thinks all of a sudden Man City are going to drop off? No guarantees, is there? Dear me, honestly, he reminds me of when Britney Spears went on to shake her head. Oh, that's brilliant. Why is he hyping Arsenal? Why he's a Spurs fan? Pound notes, mate. He's a brown envelope. That's why.
Went away from City, and they played 45 minutes with 10 men. Like, they're probably going to feel an element the refs are against them. I understand that to a degree, but I thought it was a phenomenal defensive display, and I don't really think Arteta could have done much. You know, you've played Tottenham away, they've won. They played Villa away, they've won, and they've got a point at City. In between all that, they had a Europa League winners in the Champions League in Atalanta. And Man City and Arsenal so far are the only teams not to have come away with a defeat. You know, if they beat them at the Emirates, who knows? Can they win the league? Who knows? But performances like that as a team, everyone fighting together, everyone fighting for the badge. You know, the way they conceded is a massive kick in the teeth. You have to give credit to City because they kept going and going and going and going and going, and they finally.
Yes, that's why they keep on winning, because they are elite and they don't do PR. That's why Man City is serious. But why are you getting none credit, Mr. Joshy J? You're a Man United fan, Mr. Joshy J. Stop giving your rivals credit. Get out of here, man. If I want to give teams credit, I will give teams credit, because I see myself as a fair football fan at the end of the day. As a neutral, I see myself as a fair fan. I'm not biased or anything. And it's like these football fans have different standards for other football clubs than their own football clubs. It's like, why don't you just have the same standards for your own football club instead of having different standards for other football clubs? It makes no sense. It really doesn't. But it's where we're at with football these days. Modern football is absolutely in the bin.
Got the goal. But overall, I think they were poor. I think they were poor today. You know, just one defeat in the Premier League in 2024 for Arsenal. You know, Villa away, Spurs away, City away, 2 points off top spot. You know, they're the morale winners to today. That's going to give them a huge, huge, huge boost. You know, I think that was. I don't really think Arteta could have done anything different. You have to give credit to Arteta as well. Some of the changes he made. He took off Calafiori when he was injured at the right time. The only worrying concern I would say is probably Yuri and Timber. I thought that was a big kick in the teeth. And City got lucky. You know, Kyle Walker, absolute stinker. Horrendous today. Absolutely horrendous. Man City got lucky. They got lucky. Gonna be on.
Horrendous stinker. No, he actually got back once to stop Arsenal from scoring. Yes, I know he's in like his 30s now, Kyle Walker, but he's still got a lot of pace, hasn't he? Why is he hyping up Arsenal? Why? He's a Spurs fan. He hates Arsenal and he deleted. Like I said, brown envelope, mate. Typical brown envelope.
You know, they are the mentality monsters today. That's what we're going to title this video, because I don't see how you can go to the Etihad, play with 10 men, nearly yeah, the margins are so fine, but they've nearly done it, and they've come away with a point. If you're looking at this from an Arsenal perspective, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be over the moon with today. Yes, you didn't win the game. However, you've come away, right? You've come away with a draw playing with 10 men for 45 minutes. Let me know down below your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. I am out.
Literally, this is what I don't get right. Why they keep on going out about the PGMOL? It's like they're trying to give Trossard a free pass, so yet they're crying about Doku not getting the yellow cards. There must have been a good reason why Doku didn't get a yellow card for kicking the ball away. Because let's face it, he must have done it in the rules and regulations where Trossard didn't. He'd broken the rules and regulations. It's like they're trying to defend Trossard and that, but you cannot defend the indefensible. It was a second yellow card, but yet these fans like to make up excuses at the end of the day, don't they? Let's get the narrative right here. Nah, it's like, get out here, man. What are we doing here? Seriously, real talk, what are we doing? Dear me. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. City will beat Newcastle next week. I mean, I wouldn't say Newcastle playing outstanding, are they? You know, it's like they lost it to Fulham, so not everything is rosy over in Newcastle. Yes, I know Man City will be without Rodri, but they'll probably find a way through against Newcastle, won't they? Because it's what an elite football club does. And the disrespect Man City get from rival fans is an absolute disgrace, honestly. Yet, that people reckon Arsenal are scary, that Man City's scared of Arsenal. I mean, get out of here, man. Seriously, what are we doing here? Real talk, what are we doing? It's absolutely unbelievable. Where yet today, I heard a lot of Man City fans were angry with that performance because they could not break down 10 men Arsenal. Yet, when you're down to 10 men, if you're Man City, you have to take full advantage of it. So, and that's why Man City fans have the elite mentality, yeah? They just want their football team to win and play well. That's what I respect about Man City fans, because they don't accept PR at their football club, because they have standards. Like what I do with Man United, I have standards, yeah? But there's a lot of fans who just fall for the PR bollocks who don't have any standards. But I'm not one of them. I am authentic. If my football club get it wrong, I hold them accountable. And what I say comes from the heart. I'm not influenced by anyone. If I want to be the manager out, I will be the manager out. If I said the players had a crap game, I will say the players had a crap game. It's as simple as that. Because at the end of the day, I care about Manchester United Football Club. It's like if Man United fans, right, had the same like standards as what I got, literally we would be in a much better place as a football club. Arsenal are not elite club when they don't have no Champions League trophy. Facts. You know that flag at Chelsea? We see things they never see. 2 UEFA Champions Leagues and that. Yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But, you know, I've been carrying on cooking all these people tonight, and rightly so, honestly. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, yeah, let's see what Rory Lemons has to say, shall we? Let's cook this runner next. Let's see what he said about the game. Arsenal clearly the best side in the country. Best side in the country? You're having a fucking laugh, mate. More like Man City, the best side in the country. They've done a 4-peat and could potentially do a 5-peat. I mean, oh my goodness me. It's unbelievable, honestly. These fans who chat absolute bollocks make me laugh. Honestly, Havertz done nothing against City. I mean, he was very quiet, wasn't he? But yet, Arsenal fans will blame the PGMOL for that. And also, fans who hate Man City will blame the PGMOL for that. I mean, oh my goodness me. It's absolutely pathetic. Pathetic. Anyway, let's have a look at Rory Lemon, shall we? Let's cook this ramen next. Honestly, I can keep going with this because I'm sick and tired of it.
Chaos, controversy, and absolutely loved it. That game had everything. 4 goals, an Arteta defensive masterclass, a red card, 100 Man City goals for Erling Haaland already, a ref.
Now, if Arsenal hanged on and got all 3 points, you could argue and say it was a defensive masterclass. But as they didn't, and they switched off, to me, it's a defensive failure in the end.
Marine controversy. A 97th minute equaliser, aggro at the end. A proper rivalry has been born. That was sensational. It was football in its purest form. In other words, it was a delectable medley of footballing splendour. That was the game of the season so far. We are in for a title race, ladies and gentlemen. The rivalry that has been sparked today could go on for another decade. That is what happens. When rivalries are born like this, they do not fade away easily. And we saw it at the end. It was poison, it was aggro, it was aggression, and it was beautiful. That is what we want from Premier League football. We do not want opposition players cuddling one another at full-time whistle. What we want is genuine antipathy, genuine hatred, genuine desperation to win. And you can see that this Manchester City squad are built on winners. But we knew that already. But what we learned about Arsenal today, and that is why Arsenal fans should have their heads held so high. That is why Arsenal fans should be over the moon with that result. And I will go on as to explain why. But what we learned about them today is that they are winners. And we, as football fans now, are incredibly lucky because we are going to witness.
Did they get all 3 points though? No, they didn't. So how come they are winners? The more happier side will be Man City because, hello, they are top of the table. Arsenal are not the best club in the world when they don't have no Champions Leagues trophy in the European trophy. Facts, absolute facts, Daniel Knight 14. You're spot on, mate.
A defining era of the Premier League. This rivalry will go on. Gabriel Jesus getting stuck in against his former team at the end. Jack Grealish right at the heart of everything going on. Bernardo Silva, loads and loads of needle. Erling Haaland launching the ball into Gabriel's head from behind. Asking that Lewis Skelly who exactly he is. Rude, unacceptable, some would say. Beautiful, I would say. That is football. Spite, venom, rivalry, hostility. It was huge. And over the years, we have seen these rivalries be born. Chelsea versus Liverpool, Jose Mourinho versus Rafael Benitez, for example. Manchester United versus Arsenal twice. First, the era of George Graham. Second, the era of Arsene Wenger. That was also huge. Manchester United versus Chelsea. There are so many, and they do genuinely live forever. But overall, Manchester City should feel incredibly relieved. Their unbeaten home streak continues. 48 games unbeaten at home. But my God, they were so lucky. They really were so lucky because...
Lucky? They deserve to get something from the game. Yeah? Man City, they couldn't break down 10 men Arsenal because Arsenal defended well and Man City were rushed in their shots. But Man City, before Rodri got injured and that, I think they had control in the game. So I say they did deserve something on the game. again, but because it's Man City, this is true. The Man City hate is real, honestly. And as a Manchester United fan, it literally is quite baffling to why so many people hate Man City. But it's because our rival, Mr. Joshy J. He's deluded in Arsenal, not won any trophies for 2 seasons, where my team, Man United, have won 2 trophies in 2 seasons. So, in theory, Arsenal finished in second the last couple of seasons. We actually had a better season than them. It's hilarious. Oh no, not that Pillock. Oh yeah, I'm cooking him, mate. Utter Ronan, honestly. He's not getting a free pass.
Arsenal 100% deserved the 3 points. There's no doubt about that. They were sensational.
No, they didn't. They were ones at the end of the day who were bottlers. Let's get the narrative right here.
Arsenal, from top to bottom, deserved the 3 points. They were magnificent. They were let down by one player. One player cost Arsenal the victory today, and that one player should hang his head in shame. That player is Leandro Trossard. I mean, what on earth was he doing? For what, 3 weeks now, since Declan Rice got sent off against Brighton, all we've spoken about at Arsenal is kicking the ball away. That has been the focus of the club. The penalty of what happens when you kick the ball away. What did Leandro Trossard do so foolishly? He's on a yellow and he's going to go and smash the ball away after a foul. How foolish can you get? So foolish. And I tell you what, I think Arsenal fans need to adopt a slightly different mentality here. I think Leandro Trossard is a remarkable footballer. Everyone knows how highly I rate him. Everyone knows, who's ever watched me talk about football, that I think Leandro Trossard is a top-class Premier League player. But he cost his team today. And Arsenal fans need to not talk about the referee. They need to not make excuses for Leandro Trossard. He needs to be accountable. He needs to take some responsibility. It was a correct sending off, just like you could argue.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a correct sending off. At least someone is saying that Trossard is to blame in that, but he's still a brown envelope, don't get me wrong. Arsenal done nothing in the second half, and City dominated them. Facts. Absolute facts, mate.
Declan Rice, it was a correct sending off. Arsenal fans need to expect more. Stop forgiving the players. Because Leandro Trossard there has cost his team. To a man. I remember there was a headline when David Beckham got sent off against Argentina. And the headline was 10 brave lions, 1 stupid boy. I think that is the headline that would be the perfect summary of the game today from an Arsenal perspective. A load of brave lions. Everyone, from the manager down. 1 stupid boy who massively cost his team. I would genuinely mean it. For 2 weeks, we've been talking about Arsenal struggling because of kicking the ball away. Call it harsh, if you want.
And not getting a proper number 9 in as well. That's where Arsenal gone wrong. But hey, not my problem. It's Arsenal's, isn't it? They didn't bring in a proper number 9. So, at the end of the day, they only got themselves to blame, haven't they? Let's get the narrative right here, people.
If you think that sending off was harsh, you can call it that. But I'm afraid Leandro Trossard needs to be much cleverer than that. Apart from Trossard, I think Arsenal should really hold their heads high. I think they were heroic. They were gladiatorial. They were in an amphitheatre, fighting to the bitter end. And the Arsenal team, Mikel Arteta got it so right. He tactically fought Pep Guardiola. He declared war on his former boss, tactically. He took the fight not only to Pep Guardiola's home stadium, but to Pep Guardiola's home arena. Tactician. He took it to him. He was exceptional. And Nico Jova, yet again, deserves huge amounts of plaudits. Of course, the Arsenal players put that into effect. The Arsenal team, the way they set up at that corner without their architect, Ben White, to make sure that the ball ended up in the back of the net, off the back of missing one. There was a moment 10 minutes before the goal, 10 minutes before Gabriel nods it in, where Gabriel missed one that he had to score. We were saying you don't get chances like that at City, but thanks to Nico Jova's brilliance, they forced it again. They found another way. They deployed a slightly different system, and Kyle Walker
Look, that was a good header, what Arsenal scored from that corner. But if there was a foul on Henderson, which I was watching the game, so I didn't really see it in real time. I need to look back on it. If there was a foul on Henderson, then yes, you could argue and say that is controversial, that goal. But I'm not going to comment on that because I need to rewatch it. Rory, he ended up being an action figure. It would be a toy no one will want at Christmas or any other time of the year. Daniel Night 14, Michael, we will be there when they bottle league again, Arsenal. Bosh! We hit the 3 hour mark once again. For a second night in a row, we hit the 3 hour mark. And I haven't even got on to the Man United player ratings yet, which we will do, but I'm having so much fun cooking these run-ins, honestly.
Let his man go. And the ball, the delivery, the movement, everybody doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Making sure that you adopt a position just in front of the goalkeeper. Martinelli, very clever. And Jova, again, getting it right. There were some unbelievable performances from an Arsenal perspective. Sensational, historic, brilliant, like truly, truly heroic performances at the back. I mean, defensively, they were so solid. Saliba, unreal. Gabriel, unreal. David Raya, oh my God. David Raya, Turian Timber. I mean, who's man of the match? Timber? Raya? Raya has been an amazing signing, hasn't he? Again, Arteta deserves so much credit for that because it felt to me like he had blown up his back line when they brought him in. Ramsdale was doing well. Ramsdale was getting selected for England. Ramsdale was starting Arsenal attacks. Mikel Arteta strengthened a position of strength. He identified Raya. And look what David Raya did for Arsenal in the week in Bergamo. Look at that double save in the week, and look at what he's done today. Easily, you could argue that he could be man of the match. I mean, I thought Timber was immense. I really, really did. But it's hard to see beyond it being David Raya, isn't it? But Arsenal fans, I imagine they're feeling gutted. But I think they're completely wrong. Today was a symbolic victory. Okay, it ended in disappointment. Okay, it ended.
Symbolic victory. What the fuck are you talking about, mate? No, they threw it away in the end. It's as simple as that. Symbolic victory. What are we doing here, people? It's fucking insane, honestly. Absolutely laughable. But anyway, let's continue. Oh my God.
But allow me to make this case. People who didn't believe that Arsenal could win the league, they now believe that you can. People who believe that there was a chasm of quality between Man City and between Arsenal don't believe that chasm exists anymore. People who thought that Mikel Arteta was not capable of going head to head and competing with Pep Guardiola don't think that anymore. There has been a rewriting, almost a redefinition of Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal Football Club, those that once doubted them have watched that 90 minutes and now think that they are capable. That alone is the victory. The fact that you are leaving the Etihad, having taken the game to Manchester City, having dominated and dictated the tempo of the game when there is 11 versus 11, is a statement. To then have to totally re-employ different tactics, set up in a different way, Mikel Arteta got it so right. And I know it will feel like 2 points have been dropped, but I think we really do have to acknowledge quite how well.
Because it is 2 points dropped at the end of the day by Arsenal. Let's get the narrative right here. There is no hiding place. Hello. The score finished 2-2, which means Arsenal dropped 2 points. It's as simple as that. Arsenal are not going to win the league title this season. I mean, it's more than likely. You're right, mate.
Arsenal have played, quite what Arsenal have done, and also appreciate exactly what Mikel Arteta did. Went for it, was losing the game. Erling Haaland scored 100th goal, 10 goals in 5 games. Unbelievable. Didn't do enough in the whole game, but a wonderful goal. You're a goal down at City. It's difficult. What do? He found his way back into the game, kept calm, did exactly what he wanted to do. Then it all goes wrong because of that foolish, idiotic moment from Leandro Trossard. Again, what does Mikel Arteta do? Redefines the team, reimagines the tactics, ends up playing what? A sort of 6 at the back. It 6-3. It really was impressive. It really was. And ultimately, Arsenal should feel incredibly proud of what they achieved. To go to the Etihad, to dictate the tempo, to go a goal down, and ultimately be disappointed that you didn't win, really does lay a marker down to Manchester City. From a City perspective, however, they got the point. They found a way. They didn't deserve it. At various points, they were...
Because that's what happens when you have an elite mentality and the best manager in the world, yeah? They always find a way through. Why is Rory hyping Arsenal against to win the league? He's not even a real Chelsea fan. Again, like I've been saying, mate, literally the whole show, brown envelopes.
resorting to shooting from 30 yards, basically Ruben Diaz having a pot shot, which Arsenal was letting them do. I've seen these nonsense stats floating around, by the way. You're going to see these. I think Kai Havertz didn't make any passes. Don't be fooled by those stupid analysis stats. They mean nothing. I don't like praising Kai Havertz. I most certainly do not enjoy celebrating Kai Havertz. I don't particularly rate him. I don't think he has been a great signing for Arsenal. And I will argue with anyone who thinks that he has been the player that they need him to be. But anyone that finds any kind of humour or glory in the Timber and Kai Havertz stat, having not completed any of their passes, I think Jurrien Timber tried 6 passes, didn't succeed with any. The geezer was wicked today. I think Kai Havertz tried five passes, didn't connect with any Arsenal player out of any of those 5. Again, he was wicked today. They both were incredibly good. Both tried so hard. Both covered every blade of grass and both fought for the cause. So those stats are incredibly foolish and incredibly misleading. But if City ultimately win the league, they will look back on this day. They will look back on this point. And you know, they do that thing. I think they call it 93-20 when Sergio Aguero scored. They may well look at the minute, must have been 97 something. Whatever the exact timing of John Stones' equaliser, that could go down in history. It really will go down as one of the biggest goals ever scored in that stadium, if they go on to win the league. Huge game, wonderful game of football, incredible from so many, the right amount of aggression, the right amount of needle, the right amount of talking points. God, that was football, distilled, pure heroin football. It was a joy to behold. Overall, in my opinion, I think it's our advantage, Arsenal, in the title race. I would...
Advantage Arsenal? No, it's advantage Manchester City. They are the ones top at the end of the day, and Arsenal are the ones who are trying to hunt them down, and they're pulling the end of the day. Again, no one giving Man City credit, honestly. It's absolutely baffling. I mean, if you're a Man City fan, this must jar the crap out of you, honestly. Havertz is crap, and if you keep playing him up front, they will not win the league, and I know Arsenal will bottle it yet again. Yeah, you're making some good points.
Love your thoughts on that. I would love to hear what you have to say. So please do let me know. Did you love it? The only other talking point, oh God, could be the biggest talking point the whole day, in fact. Rodri, injured, could miss some games. What are the ramifications of that? Because Mateo Kovacic came in and he just is not comparable. When you watch Declan Rice play the way that he did today, remember when it looked like Rice was going to Man City? Imagine if they had captured him. I mean, it would have been a wrap, wouldn't it? I thought Rice had a very good game as well. An amazing game of football, an amazing night, a joy to behold. Let me know your thoughts. Please do me the honour of gifting me your thoughts, because the second I put this video live, I'm going to be reading everything that you have to say about it. So please do let me know what is going on in your thoughts here. Amazing. Please do click subscribe as well. Drop the video a like if you have enjoyed it. Gosh, a delectable medley of footballing splendour. It's been a long time since I've been able to say that, but that was beautiful.
Typical, honestly. I mean, what a load of banger mash waffle. The most sensible thing here, though, is he did call out Trossard, literally for getting sent off. So, fair play, I'll give him credit on that one, but still, banger mash waffle, honestly. How is it advantage Arsenal then when Man City top? Exactly, exactly. I mean, it just goes to show that Man City hate is real, honestly. It's arch jarring, man. So look, who else can we have a look at? Saeed, here we go. Did he say anything about the game? Heartbreak for Arsenal. Okay, good one. Good one.
Wow.
I'm going to sleep.
Wow.
Good night, Danny Night 14.
Wow. Inches Arsenal were close to getting their first win at the Etihad since 2015. And one lapse of concentration, boom, John Stones gets the winner. If you're an Arsenal fan,
Thank you. Literally, my point. One lapse in concentration cost Arsenal all 3 points, and so did Lissandro Trossard. Let's see if Saeed calls out Lissandro Trossard. Big up, Saeed. Absolutely love Saeed. Make sure you are subscribing to Saeed TV.
right now, you're absolutely gutted. Some of you might be fuming because defensively, it's very difficult to defend for that long. And was it right to maybe defend for that long? But bro, Man City get the equalizer. They get the point. And Arsenal, for all that hard work, for all that endeavour, for all of that Great Wall of China, for all of that David Raya performance, Arsenal come away with a point. It's absolutely heartbreaking if you're an Arsenal fan, especially for them players. Blood, sweat, and tears. They pointed out Martinelli, all of them, cramps, all of them, tired, knackered, playing in that low block because it was defense versus attack for 45 minutes. David Raya was looking like prime David De Gea with all them saves he was making. Saliba and Gabriel Marshall in the defense. You had Rice on.
True, David Raya to me had an absolute outstanding game. I 100% agree with you, Saeed. He was absolutely unbelievable, wasn't he?
Jorginho, Rice and Partey in the pivot. Martinelli took it in. Oh my God, I can't believe it, man. I swear down, man. I was like, yo, Arsenal, let's do it. Let's cook Big Steve. Turkish. I wanted him to cook Big Steve. I wanted him, guys. I needed that to happen. But no. It's honestly, it feels like a loss for Arsenal. If you're an Arsenal fan right now, it feels like a loss. You don't even want to care about the draw because you're literally less than a minute left for that equalizer. Less than a minute. How do you comprehend it? All started from that Jorginho. That Jorginho moment right there. It all started from there. Everything started from there. Madness. Absolute madness, man. Should also been down to 10 men. That's the key question as well. Consistency.
Yes, because he kicks the ball out of play. And the referee had no option. So of course they should have been down to 10 men.
Versus common sense. Where do you as a referee sit?
Consistency. Rice gets a second yellow card. Michael Oliver's like, we're going to have to play by the letter of the law. It's a second yellow card. He must go off. Versus common sense. It's a big game. Really and truly, I'm going to spoil not only the entertainment of the game, but the magnitude of the game is important. Where do you sit right there? I can't lie to you guys. I think it's harsh. Jorginho, you're giving the referee a lot of thinking to do. You're always making a decision for him because the second yellow, there's no VAR. But I'm sorry, man. I'm there as a neutral, and I'm like, referee, just use your common sense, mate. Yes, he kicks the ball away. And yes, it's the same as Rice. And yes, that means we have to keep consistency. In that magnitude of a game, we want to see entertainment. We want to see a fair game. We want to just see, you know what? The Premier League, it's what it is. Barclays Premier League. That's all we all looked, right? So just make it 11 v 11. That's me as a neutral. Looking at that game, I'm thinking to myself, yo, we don't need 10 versus 11. We don't need that. And that swung the momentum because Arsenal before that had the momentum. They had the opportunities. They had everything going in their way. They were 2-1 up. Brilliant goal from Calafiori. Brilliant. The header from Gabriel, outstanding. He was outstanding today. But let me tell you something. I'm looking at the second half and I'm like, Arteta, could you have gone differently in that game? Did you have to go in that manner? Because sometimes when you're down to 10 men and you're almost in that low block here, it sends a mentality shift to the players to be like, I can't really leave my zone. I can't really leave where I need to be. I can't. I don't think I can get away from this because if I do, I'm letting someone off. Whereas if you've still got the ball and there's maybe a little bit spaces in behind, I know it's Man City, but sometimes it then allows Man City to get complacent going forward. And then you've got players going back. I don't know. I'm a tactician. I'm just a fan, but I've seen this before where I'm like, you've got to have an outlet. Sterling was on the bench. Jesus was on the bench. Could that not have been the outlet that he needed? Let me know in the comments below, but boy, the analysis, the post-mortem, it's honestly sickening right now. If you're an Arsenal fan right now, you must be absolutely sickened because you're just like, why? Why?
See, Arsenal fans like Lee Gunner, Jez, and Kenny Ken held Lissandro Trossard accountable. So why aren't many more holding them accountable? It just goes to show that these fans who are not holding Lissandro Trossard accountable don't know the common logic in football. It's as simple as that. Hold your player accountable. Then call them out. It's as simple as that in the end of the day. Like what I do, Manchester United. Call them out.
Why? Why did we let this happen? Damn, man. Oh my God, man. It is crazy. It is crazy. I'm looking at the game. I'm looking at David Rice's performance. I'm looking at everything I'm like, yo, that's a brilliant Man City were absolutely ran out of ideas. They kept shooting. Wasn't going anywhere. Arsenal were like, yeah, we'll have that. We'll take that. We're not bothered. We're good. We're all right, man. We don't need to worry about that. They were just calm. They were just relaxed. They were enjoying everything. They were like, cool. Don't worry. It's all good. And that is the issue right there. One lapse of concentrating on football and you're done. And for those that were saying that Arteta's the wrong tactic, that is where you look at it and you're like, damn. And it's for me, when you look at it now, I don't think it's a point gained. I really don't. In that moment there, it's 2 points dropped for Arsenal. I'm sorry, guys. I have to keep it real.
Facts, absolutely facts, Saeed. It is 2 points drop Arsenal. Guess whose fault it is, though? It's not the referee's fault or PGMOL's fault. It's Arsenal's fault in the end of the day. Switched off, and Man City, with the elite mentality, were switched on. They punished them. It's as simple as that.
In that moment there, you've just dropped 2 points there. The mentality isn't a point gained. It isn't. It really, really isn't. That moment there, it's a point, 2 points drop. That's the way I kind of look at it now. Oh man, I got a feel for it. Listen, man, football's cruel, man. But end of the day, it's fine margins, isn't it? Fine margins with football, man. Could have come on here, could have been saying, eulogizing everyone's performance and be like, you know what, that person there, unbelievable, unbelievable. That we could have been eulogizing the performances, but now, sorry, man, but they ain't easy. Could have been top of the league today, and now Big Steve, chest out. You know, I mean, all that defending, all of that, hold that. That's what they're going to be saying now. All of that defending and all of that. One lacks of concentration there. John Stones, who comes off the bench, provides the moment for them, man. It's gutted. If you're an Arsenal fan right now, it must be gutted, man. Gutted. You know what I'm saying to you? Again, still unbeaten, which is fair enough. That's cool. But that was the moment there, man. And 4 points out of 6 isn't bad. It's not bad at all. But when you look at it, it could have been 6 out of 6. That could have been a scenario right there. 6 out of 6. And you're that close, man. That close, millimeters. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Football, man, football. Let me know what your comments in below. Are you gutted? Are you okay? How are you feeling? Let me know in the comments below, man, because like I said to you, man, this is football, guys, man. This is football, man. This is what happens in football. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Peace.
Wow, absolutely unbelievable. He made some very good points there, actually. He said one lapse in concentration for Arsenal cost them. I couldn't agree more. Absolute facts. Absolute spot on. You are spot on. Honestly. Oh, Eunice talks football. Big up to Eunice, by the way. Absolutely love Eunice. Arsenal discovered defending is not so easy. Arsenal must learn from Chelsea to win title. Ah, interesting.
Video, I hope all of you are doing well today. My oh my, what a day we've had of Premier League football with Man City and Arsenal. And I've got two sides of a coin that I want to share with you guys because I've got a little bit of a reality check to hit and grace the Arsenal fans, right, with some gospel is about to be dropped. But I also want to say some good things about Arsenal because it's deserved. And today, what a game that was. 2-2. Man City 2, Arsenal 2. Let's start off with the gospel to share on Arsenal fans, right? But Arsenal fans, don't click off because, as I said, there's two sides to this coin, and I am going to flip it, and I do have some good things to say. And then at the end, we're going to get a general view of the way that things are standing at the moment, and I have to say I'm feeling good. Everyone feeling good. And, you know, we're going to get to why that is, and we're going to get to where Chelsea are relevant in all of this. So we'll get to that. But let's start off with one simple factor, which needs to be addressed if Arsenal even want to think about winning a trophy this season. Because let's be honest, Arsenal can win a trophy this season, 100%. They're capable. They are capable. But are they going to execute? Are they going to show that they have what it takes to get across the line, and not just a trophy like a League Cup? I mean, look, you're fighting for the title here. Arsenal, without question, are in a title race, but they've been in the title race last couple of years, and they've bottled it through every single one. Now, Arsenal fans, even so, after all this time, are starting to get a little impatient and are going, listen, this season has to be the season. This season has to be it. It has to be now, right? So, there's one important attribute that Arsenal could not execute today, that you're going to need if you're going to try and win the league. And this is where there's a bit of a reality check. So, Arsenal fans, I want to ask you this, right? In a very diplomatic manner. I want to ask you this, because for us, Chelsea fans, today is a vindicating moment. Vindicating. I feel vindicated. I feel vindicated for years of, I won't say abuse, it's not abuse, right? Criticism. Years from Arsenal fans about the way we used to play. And well, Arsenal have tried to adopt that philosophy now when they need it. And today was a prime example. It's not easy defending the result, is it? No, it's not. It's not. And I will say, right, fair play Arsenal, and there are a couple of circumstances. We'll get to that when I say the good things about Arsenal. So hold that thought. But regardless of the circumstances, you still need to get it over the line. And getting it over the line means if you're going to defend and you're going to sit back and you're going to play the dirty side of the game, you got to do it properly. And you got to be the dirtiest player in the game. I don't mean that by getting...
Facts, absolute facts. Eunice Talk Football, talking absolute facts there. Honestly, I love Eunice Talks Football. YouTuber who just says it how it is. He's a real one. Big up to Eunice Talks Football, yeah? Make sure you are subscribing to Eunice Talks Football.
Multiple red cards and breaking legs. No, but you remember how Chelsea used to defend results, and what happened? We used to get criticised for it. We used to be told constantly that we're not playing football. We used to be told by Arsenal fans themselves, boring, boring Chelsea, boring, boring Chelsea. Well, we used to defend results. We used to come to places and take the 1-0s. And we used to know how to do it efficiently. And we used to win trophies because of it. And we've got an entire cabinet that we can show because of that. So Arsenal, I ask you again, it's not easy defending the result, is it? It's not. We tried to tell you this years ago. We've done it for years. We had this way of playing on lock for well over a decade. Yeah, we held it down, but we knew how to execute. And we used to tell people, listen, you can try and mock us and criticize us, but it's not easy. You try it, it's not easy. You've got to have the team that are capable of doing it. Now, I will give credit to Arsenal in the fact that they did play against the best team in the country, but so did we when we used to do it. So did we. And we used to come to Arsenal themselves and get points from them when we needed it. Because we knew when we were in a title race, 14-15, and we came to the Emirates, and what happened? We came for the 0-0. Did we take the 0-0? Of course we did. Thank you very much. But we came with the intention of getting the 0-0, and we took that 0-0. But when we came for a result, we got it. It's not easy to do. So, Arsenal fans, I hope that today is a bit of a humbler. And again, not in a mocking way. I'm saying, like, Arsenal fans need to realise, yeah, it's not just about playing pretty. Sometimes to win trophies, you need to play, I don't want to say dirty. It's not dirty. I don't see this as dirty. Defensive football is not dirty. It's necessary. It's necessary. So if Arsenal fans want to see their team play really nice football, I reckon Arsenal are capable of playing really nice football. They've proven that. But you got to play the gritty side too, and you got to execute that. When it comes to the to those moments where you need the points no matter what, you gotta get them by any means necessary. And today was an example of Arsenal not being able to hold on. Despite being down to 10 men, I will give you that. Of course, it's 10 men. It's not easy. But still, no excuses. No excuses. No.
Thank you. No excuses. Eunice talks football, talking absolute facts there. He is absolutely spot on.
At all. You have to get the points. Simple as that. You have to. Now, that I wanted to say because I hope it's a realization for Arsenal that if they do want to win the title, if they do want to get ahead of Manchester City, things like today cannot happen. It can't. If not, City will run away with it. They just will. At the end of the day, I will say this. It's not a bad point, right? It's still a point away at the Etihad. It will only be vindicated if now Arsenal beat City at the Emirates. Because over 2 games in the season where you play the same team twice, if you haven't lost and you've won one of those games, fantastic. Brilliant. That's a good record, right? And that holds them back, right? So that is where I will say, we'll see what happens in that return fixture when it comes around later on in the season. But I want to make that point. It's not easy to defend, is it? It's not, man. It's not. And we were trying to say this for years. It's not easy. It's a necessary part of the game, and you got to do it well. Just like teams want to attack well, you got to defend well. And boy, oh boy, we used to know how to defend, man. Defend to the point where we had a concrete wall that no one...
Because Chelsea had an elite manager, that's why. Jose Mourinho. He knew how to get Chelsea on the line. And that didn't he? Let's get the narrative right here. Mourinho is one of the best managers out there. Eunice talks minerals. Let's get it right, 100%. And his live shows as well with Johnny Minerals. Absolutely amazing, honestly.
Getting through. Point is still proven. We still hold the defensive record in the Premier League, and it's a record that will never be touched again. It will never be touched again. 15 goals in one season. No one's doing that ever again. Especially in today's age where everyone wants to score goals. No chance. So, respect it. Respect it. And not just respect, obviously, what we did back then for all of those years. Respect the defensive side of the game. It's a necessary part of the game that you need to have on lock in order for you to win trophies, such as league titles. You need to have it. If you don't have it, you will not win the league. End of story. So, respect it. Now, let's flip the coin. This is where I praise Arsenal. I will say that Arsenal, going down to 10 men was not ideal for them. As I said, they did go to the Etihad and they got a point. But I do want to praise Arsenal for the overall attitude. Because they had 1-0 down, right? And they managed to get themselves up 2-1. And look, 2 goals that Calafiori's goal, absolutely phenomenal. What a hit that was. And what a way to score your first goal for the club. So big up to Calafiori for that fantastic goal. Gabriel lost Kyle Walker as his marker for fun. Kyle Walker was like trying to, I don't know, he was trying to mock him or something. He was trying to constantly hit him in the gut. Like oh, you're here. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. And Gabriel was literally like, move out the flipping way, man. Move. You're a nuisance. Get out of it. Literally hit him away like someone would tap a mosquito away. Just get out of it. And boom, into the box, smash. Second weekend running, another header in the box, boom, and it's 2-1 Arsenal. So up until that point, credit. And it looked like Arsenal were going to get the job done until the very end. That's why I made the point about why it's not easy to defend. It's not. It's not. You need to have that unlocked, so respect it. But for big portions of that game, it looked like Arsenal were actually doing that quite effectively, right?
In sport and in life.
But honestly, what let Arsenal down was they switched off, didn't they? So unfortunately,
Like I said, no excuses, but I will praise Arsenal.
Yeah, you can't question Arsenal's work rate. At times they defended brilliantly, but unfortunately, they were their own worst enemy in this game. They cost themselves.
As a team that I don't normally expect to see defend and defend well, they nearly got it done. They nearly got it done, right? So now it's about making sure that mistake doesn't happen again. And like I said, respect the defensive side of the game. It has to go all the way up until the end. Until the fat lady sings, as they say. Up until that point, the job is not done and it's not over yet. And when I see like those Arsenal fans celebrating the fact that it's 97 minutes, it's great, all right, cool. Like Troops was going crazy, like oh no, he was singing songs and all of that. Like, and then what happened? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Well, yeah, oh no, you didn't get the job done. You got to respect it. You got to respect the defensive side of the game. So overall, look, there is one controversial factor here, and that's the red card. Now, at first, I'm thinking that's not a red. Or second yellow. It was a second yellow. I do want to say it was a second yellow. Whether you say the barge straight into the back, right, of Bernardo Silva, for me, that's a yellow. But on top of that, if that's not the yellow, Trossard kicked the ball away after the referee blew the whistle. And you just can't do that. You can't do that. And you've done it. So whichever one it was, it's a second yellow. So you're off, mate. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So I don't feel bad for the fact that Arsenal went down to 10, but I will say that Arsenal were resilient all the way up until the end and getting the job done. Well, not getting the job done completely, but holding on for that long, again, with 10 men at the Etihad against City, it's not easy. Right, so I will say for that, fair play. But like I've said, to win the title against a team like City, you need to be able to grind out results. So I'm going to leave the question open to all of you. Can Arsenal grind out results when they have to in later games that are coming throughout the season? Or is this going to be an issue?
I'm no doubt about it. They can learn from this, learn from where they went from in this game and improve on games later on during the season. It could work for them, but who knows?
You reckon will arise again, where Arsenal just can't defend all the way till the end. Is that something that could be a problem in the Arsenal team? Or is today just unlucky? Because it can happen. Do you think they do have that side of the game on lock? I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Now, what I will say is why I'm happy. Because I'll be honest, for me, a draw is fantastic. I would have preferred the Man City win, I can't lie, because that would have meant Chelsea stay top 4. But right now, Man City on 13 points, Liverpool on 12 points, Villa on 12 points, Arsenal on 11 points, Chelsea on 10 points. And United are in 11th on 7. Look, Chelsea are in a very good place right now. Let's not blow it, please. Yeah, Chelsea have 4 home games, consecutive home games coming up. It's a good chance to set the momentum at home now because it looks like we've got momentum away from home. Now it's about setting the tempo at home and getting the atmosphere at home on.
One word, nope.
And making sure everything is all cool and results are coming through the door. And if that's the case, genuinely, fans will start believing about getting top 4 and doing it properly. But we are 1 point behind Arsenal, 3 points behind Man City. After 5 games, that's actually not bad at all. That's really not bad at all. Really not bad at all. This stage last season, we were already in a mess, so I'll take it. But very good place right now. And this is why today's draw helped, because if not, it would have been, Man City a little closer, but Arsenal would have been further. And it just, I didn't want that. Arsenal are only 1 point away, and City are only 3. So now it's kind of in Chelsea's hands. As long as we're getting results through the door, we don't really need to pay attention about anyone else around us. We can just know that we're up there somewhere. Let's use it. Let's use it. Let's flip and use it. Why not? So, thought I'd end on that. Little bit of a nice outlook on things. So, let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. I'd love to know everything that you've got to say in the comments about Arsenal. Do you think that they can get the job done? Who do you think will win the league as well, by the way? Give me your prediction. Will it be City or Arsenal? And I'm not having a conversation about anyone else. No one else is in the conversation as far as I'm. It's either City or it's Arsenal. Let's be honest.
Man City, 100% Man City. The elite mentality.
Man United, fine. Or not fine. Tottenham. Villa, come on, they're not going to be in the title race. They'll fall off at some point, but they'll be in the mix for top 4. So, City or who's winning the league? Let me know down below. Early prediction.
Very honest match reaction there by Eunice. Absolutely fantastic. Right. I think it's about time I got on to the main topic of the video, isn't it? Player ratings, because I said this is what you've all been waiting for. As I'm approaching the 4-hour mark, wow, I could actually break my longest solo stream record. I did 6 hours, 56 minutes, and 53 seconds with Michael.Chelsea FC as a duo stream, but a solo stream on my own, my record is currently 4 hours and 4 seconds. So we really could break the record for a solo stream. Absolutely unbelievable. So, right, let's get on to the Manchester United player ratings. Now, if you're new to these player rating videos, what I do is I give the starting 11 a rating, the substitutes a rating, the bold ruled a rating for his team selection, and the team a rating for their performances during the whole game. Now, if you like my ratings, great. If not, then I'm not bothered one bit because I am back for the next game against FC 20 in the UEFA Europa League. So, right, let's start off with Andre Onana. Andre Onana, I'm going to give him an 8. I mean, oh my goodness me. That double save he made was absolutely fantastic, and he made a couple of other good saves. I thought he's absolutely brilliant yesterday. Now, Andre Onana, I criticise him a lot, and rightly so, because at the end of the day, as a football fan, you should call out your own players, yeah? Don't just give them a free pass if they're not performing. Call them out. Bruno Fernandes, 100. Oh, my goodness me. But yeah, I'll give Onana an 8. Diego Dalot, I'll give him a solid 6, really. I didn't think he's absolutely outstanding, but he still had a decent game anyway. De Ligt, I'll give him a 7. I thought he defended very well. His positioning was absolutely spot on. Very nearly scored from a set piece again, but the Crystal Palace goalkeeper did an unbelievable save, which is real unfortunate. But I reckon De Ligt could have possibly scored that opportunity, but good save by the Palace goalkeeper. Dean Henderson, ex-Man United goalkeeper, of course, he was number 2 to David De Gea, and he had an absolute blinder in the game, I thought, for Crystal Palace. Dean Henderson, so fair play. But yeah, I'll give him a 7, I think I just said, didn't I? Yeah, De Ligt 7. Lissandro Martinez. Now, I'm going to be marking this player down a little bit. Yes, he had a good game, but he needs calling out for that stupid yellow card, what so easily could have resulted in a red card at the end of the day. I mean, oh my goodness me, what are we doing here, man? Seriously, the way he lunged in and did a two-footed tackle, but what saved him was he had his hands on the ball, so that's what it stopped being a red card. So for that reason, I'm going to mark him down to 6. I mean, he didn't do that. I would have given him a 7, but there is no need for that, honestly. Mascherari, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he defended absolutely superb, honestly. His positioning was top class, absolutely amazing, honestly. So, yeah, and I think he settled in very well, but am I getting giddy about these new players? Not one bit. Shall I tell you why I won't get giddy about it? It's because it could end up going all south for these defenders. Because I've seen it this last decade or so. How many players have a good start and then just absolutely fall off the wagon at the end of the day? But hopefully, Mascherari will carry on playing good. So I'll give him a 7. Christian Eriksen, I'm going to give him a solid 6. I thought he had a decent game. Wouldn't really say outstanding, but he put in a good shift. And the problem I have with Eriksen is I feel with Christian Eriksen, his legs are gone, unfortunately, at times. But he did have a decent game yesterday, so fair play to Christian Eriksen, yeah? On to Kobe Mainu. Kobe Mainu, I'm going to give him a 6. I mean, I don't think he's outstanding at all, but he still put in a decent shift. But I am a little bit worried for Kobe Mainu. I think he's a fantastic player and he plays the badge and that, but will the bald rule ruin him? Because he's ruined a few other players in this football club. So that's my number one worry for Kobe Mainu. But I still thought he had a decent game anyway. Ahmad, I'm going to give Ahmad a 7. I thought he had a very good game again. His work rate, his movement, absolutely fantastic. So fair play to Ahmad. And so far this season, I think he's been one real positive, honestly. Ahmad Diallo. Movement, work rate, absolutely amazing. The captain, number 8, Bruno Fernandes. Now, in the first half, I thought he did okay, but second half, when the substitutions came on, absolutely abysmal. There is no defending it in any shape or form whatsoever. I mean, oh my goodness me, what on earth was he thinking in the second half, and how he stayed on the pitch the whole 90 minutes is absolutely unbelievable. But I get why he stayed on the pitch, because I guess the Bulls Rules was hoping that we would find a winner, and the Bulls Rules number 1 aim would be for him to get on the end of something or get an assist or something. But for that reason, the captain, number 8, you're getting a 4, mate. I mean, oh my goodness me. Absolutely abysmal in that second half. But there you go. Just goes to show I show no favouritism. If a player does shit, I will call them out. If you do well, I'll praise you. And number 8 had an absolute stinker in the second half. So, yeah, 4 for you, mate. Joshua Sirski. I'm going to give Sirski a 6. I mean, nothing really special by him, but he still put in a decent shift anyway, so I'll give him a 6. Garnacho, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he had a very good game. His pace was spot on. I thought his work rate was good. Now, Garnacho, the one thing I do like about Garnacho, the work rate is there, but he's got to work on consistency. But I honestly believe he had a good game yesterday. Let's get the narrative right here. So, yeah, I'll give Garnacho a 7. On to the substitutions now. The substitutions, I mean, oh my goodness me. When the substitutions came on, I think we actually got worse during the game, and Crystal Palace so easily could have ended up nicking it. So, to take all things into consideration, I'm not going to rate any of the substitutions because they don't deserve a rating, honestly. Let's get on to the bald ruled for the team selection, shall we? The bald ruled for the team selection, I'm going to give the bald ruled a respectable 7 out of 10. I was quite happy in the starting lineup, and I thought he set up quite well. But you know, if we scored and it works out for the substitutes, I would have given him an 8 or a 9. But as he had a disaster class with the substitutions, that's why I'm giving him a 7 instead of an 8. The team performance. Now, first half, we were absolutely superb. We should have been about 2 or 3-0 up, honestly. And then second half, the last 10 minutes or so, we just sat back and parked the bus. It's like, what's we doing here? Seriously, what's we doing? Real talk, yeah? That's not sustainable. So to take things into account and consideration, for that reason, I'm going to give the team a rating a 6 out of 10. Like I say, you like these ratings, great. Not then, I'm not bothered one bit because I am back for the FC20 game anyway with a preview on Tuesday, bald ruled press conference reaction on Wednesday, match reaction Thursday, emergency meeting on Thursday, then Friday, player ratings. Then Saturday, a preview for the Tottenham Hotspur game. Sunday, match reaction to the Tottenham Hotspur game. Then Sunday, emergency meeting. Then Monday, player ratings for the Tottenham Hotspur game. So plenty of Manchester United content to come on this YouTube channel. So make sure you are hitting the subscribe button. That would be absolutely fantastic. And please make sure you're subscribing to my Mr. Joshy J football channel. Link is in the description. And make sure you are subscribing to my F1 channel as well. But Manchester United, you know, the progress is there. We are slowly making progress, but it's just slow progress. And do I think we've made a huge improvement on last season? No, I don't. Not one bit. We still got a lot of work to do, honestly. I honestly believe that at times we will still struggle this season. But let's wait and see what happens. But I thought I was only going to do about just over an hour tonight or 2 hours, and I'm fast approaching the 4-hour mark. Honestly, we have absolutely cooked these YouTubers tonight, honestly. And I've loved every second of it because they need calling out. Because I have the minerals to call it out in the end of the day. Let's get the narrative right here. Let's absolutely have it right. But oh my goodness me, man. All these Manchester United fans getting giddy, think we're back in business and that. No, people. We're not back in business, okay? I like to think we're back in business, but the harsh reality is we are not back in business yet. We still got a long, long way to go. But, you know, with the right resources and the right players, we could get there. But anyway, I am wrapping this up now, people. Thank you all so much for watching. I can feel the energy levels are now starting to drop, and we've nearly been going for 4 hours, so I think that's plenty long enough. I know if I stayed live for another 15 minutes or so, we could break our longest solo stream records, but yeah, I think that's plenty. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, plenty of Manchester United content to come. Make sure you are subscribing. Thank you all very much for watching. Good night.